C. 2343. C. 2343. Chen Xiang originally wanted to go to the Nine Heaven World and bring back the bone-level fruit, so that the people there could raise their bones a little faster. He didn't expect them to become peak Divine Lords so quickly. Right now, Chen Xiang was only a step away. Because of his own cultivation method, it was extremely difficult for him to reach the last step, but once he does, he would obtain extremely strong power. Of course, if it was under normal circumstances, he would already have the power to surpass peak Divine Lord. After all, he had 16 bones and 100 GODS level. His strength definitely far surpassed peak Divine Lords. Seeing Chen Xiang's question, Imperial Concubine Lian giggled. What, you still haven't condensed your 9th divine deity? There really isn't any. This step is really difficult, but how did you guys manage to advance so fast? Chen Xiang asked. Time formation, coupled with Qilian's alive slain method, we can only cultivate so fast. Qilian managed to gain some insights from the alive slain method, but this method is only suitable for women. Imperial Concubine Lian laughed. You are doing quite well here, there's such a big place. Imperial Concubine Lian and the rest were not new to this place, they had been here for more than a month, and during this period of time, they had learnt a lot about the Star Law Divine Realm. I'm doing fine everywhere. Chen Xiang laughed, he was the pill God, and as long as he knew how to refine pills, he would be able to get along well wherever he went. That's true. Are there any good places for us here? Imperial Concubine Lian squinted her bewitching eyes, causing Chen Xiang's mind to waver. Don't worry, I've already made arrangements. Chen Xiang called Feng Wu over. Seeing such a valiant girl like Feng Wu coming here, the Imperial Concubine Lian secretly snorted. Chen Xiang would get along well wherever he went, and also take advantage of the opportunity to stir up trouble. Feng Wu, from now on you shall be with them. Let them familiarize themselves with this Star Law Divine Realm. Chen Xiang said. Had also told Feng Wu about the Hundreds of Flowers village before, so these women that had come from the Nine Heaven World must definitely all be from there. Feng Wu immediately nodded, and then politely smiled towards the Imperial Concubine Lian and the others. Leader, was the place you told me to find last time arranged for me? Feng Wu asked. Originally, but not now. Chen Xiang suddenly frowned. Ancient Heavenly Star isn't safe, but don't worry, I've already found a very safe place. Had long told Huang Jintian and the other elders about the great Heavenly Star. Master, Senior Masters and Senior Masters, if you have the time, contact Gulong, and then bring Imperial Concubine Lian and the others to the great Heavenly Star to choose a suitable place. You are all from undead divine race, and so are Imperial Concubine Lian and Jiner. Chen Xiang said. All right, there's no time to lose, let's start our journey now. At that time, not only will Hundreds of Flowers village be here, maybe even Nine Heaven School will be here. Huang Jintian laughed. It would be best if the 4 divine beasts came as well. The 4 divine beasts of Star Law Divine Realm were already dead, and although the 4 divine beasts of Nine Heaven World had experienced many life and death situations, they were still steadily growing. If they really came here, it would be extremely lively. Gulong can be reached at any time, we can set off immediately. Huang Yentian said. Imperial Concubine Lian, you should go with them. Choose a place first, build a transmission array, and then migrate over here. Chen Xiang said. I'll be able to see a little scoundrel like you when the time comes. It's been too long since I last saw you, so I feel uncomfortable. Imperial Concubine Lian chuckled. The fact that the Imperial Concubine Lian was teasing Chen Xiang in front of all these people also caused them to laugh involuntarily. Chen Xiang really wanted to punish this demon spirit, to actually tease him like this. Huang Jintian and the others brought the Imperial Concubine Lian girls and left. As Chen Xiang was about to return to the secret room to refine pills, he met Wu Ji on his way. Leader, your father-in-law has received news. Wu Ji sent a sound transmission to Chen Xiang. He had only told Wu Ji about Chen Xiang marrying him, because Wu Ji had many clones. Even if he did not tell Wu Ji, he would still know about it. Now, it was Wu Ji in charge of the communication between him and Su Dazhong. Oh, is there something important? Chen Xiang frowned and asked. Yes, he said it was urgent, so he told you to go to the Purple Yuan sect immediately. Wu Ji said. All right, I'll go now. Chen Xiang nodded and left the Tsang Cloud City. After a few teleports, he finally arrived at the outskirts of the mountain range. He changed into his original appearance, took out a purple jade tablet, and easily entered the Purple Yuan sect. The moment he entered the Purple Yuan sect, he felt that something was amiss, as if something was staring at him. It seems like something is happening in Purple Yuan sect. To think that someone would pay so much attention to me. Chen Xiang had already sensed that someone was secretly staring at him. As long as they did not do anything to hurt him, he did not take them seriously. He came to the pavilion where Su Dazhong lived. When he saw Su Dazhong, he realized that Su Dazhong was walking back and forth in the hall, as if he was troubled by something. Father, what's going on? Su Yuqing came out of the ring and asked anxiously. It's not a good thing, Fang Zitian, this brat, actually betrayed me after failing to marry you. I don't know what those two old turtles did, but the few people under my command who could beat them the best betrayed me. Su Dazhong said angrily. I treated them so well, but they actually left just like that. And looking at the situation, they might even want to beat me up. Su Dazhong treated others well. There were rumors even in the Purple Yuan Heavenly Star, but now that there was actually someone who betrayed him, and even so much, it must be because the other party used some methods or offered a very generous treatment. Father-in-law, don't worry. There's still me. Chen Xiang laughed. It's not a bad thing for them to betray you. At least, it's better to be able to see what kind of people they are than to stab you in the back. What you say is correct, but they want to join hands and kill me. I don't know what kind of medicine those two old fogies ate. They actually wanted to drive me away so quickly. Can't they be convinced that Purple Yuan sect is being controlled by a brat like me? The more Su Dazhong spoke, the angrier he got. The most important thing was that so many people had betrayed him. He had carefully nurtured them over the years, and he had always trusted these people. There are still two factions in Purple Yuan sect, right? It's just those two fence-sitters, did they do it? Chen Xiang asked. It's them. I always thought they were fence-sitters. Only now do I know that they are corner shovels that specifically dig into the corners. What makes me feel more comfortable is that Ziyuan Villa's side has also been dug out. Su Dazhong said. C-2344. C-2344 Chen Xiang now understood why Su Dazhong was so anxious. The two factions in the Purple Yuan sect were gathering power, and their goal was very clear, so they were going to deal with Su Dazhong first and take down the leader first. They felt that as long as they could take Su Dazhong down, most of the people who followed Su Dazhong would miss them. When the time comes, as long as the energy they gathered is about right, they would go to the Ziyuan Villa and take control of the villa. As for the two factions on the side of the W.A.N.G. Ancient Heavenly Star, they would definitely not return, and at that time, they would be able to firmly occupy the Purple Yuan Heavenly Star. Father, there should be people from the Ziyuan Villa looking for you. They should be able to see through the schemes of the two fence-sitters. Su Yuqing said. I have experienced their shamelessness. If they were to fight, they would definitely think of a way to push me to the front and wait for me to heavily injure them before attacking. Even if I were to win, I would have been obediently eaten by them. Su Dazhong said. Father, then how many Peak Divine Lord and Pil G.O.D. do you still have? Su Yuqing asked again. I am the only one in Peak Divine Lord. The three Pil G.O.D.s have all passed, said Sai. This bunch of B.A.S.T. ARDS, just where have I mistreated them? Su Dazhong sighed. Looks like there's only one reason. They think you have no future. Chen Xiang laughed. My good son-in-law, you're still teasing me. Su Dazhong said snappily. Quickly tell me, is there any way to help me turn the situation around? Su Yuqing was not too worried. She knew that Chen Xiang was very strong, especially in the area of alchemy. Father, he is a G.O.D. Moreover, he can refine a bone-level Dan. He will definitely be able to help you take care of it. Su Yuqing laughed. You guys go ahead, I'm going to cultivate. With that, she entered the ring. Although Su Yuqing was inside the serene jade ring, she didn't feel bored at all. When Chen Xiang was in closed-door cultivation, she would come out from time to time to get intimate with Chen Xiang. You're actually a G.O.D. and a bone-level Dan that knows how to refine king grade. Why didn't you King tell me earlier, haha. Su Dazhong was suddenly excited. He laughed and patted on Chen Xiang's shoulder. Don't try to rope the Peak Divine Lord in. How did those two wall turtles do it? Don't tell me they have something that would attract the Peak Divine Lord's attention. Chen Xiang asked. If it wasn't G.O.D. or Peak Divine Lord, they were all people who were not lacking in bone-level Dan-s. Do you still remember when they hunted undead divine race, they extracted some power from him, which could help them extend their lifespan for a period of time? To Peak Divine Lord, this is the most alluring of all, and those G.O.D.s are all old people. They knew that they did not have much time left, so when they heard the conditions from him, they immediately went over. Su Dazhong said, Of course, these are all my guesses, but I think that's about it. Doesn't that mean that the bone-level Dan I'm most proficient in is useless? Chen Xiang laughed bitterly. It's not that it's useless, at least I can cultivate quite a few Peak Divine Lords. I have quite a few of them on my side. Su Dazhong said, Father-in-law, can you find those Peak Divine Lord with better luck? Those who are about to die, they should be waiting for death right now. If I can extend their lifespan, would they come and help you? Chen Xiang asked. Su Dazhong's eyes lit up. The former leaders of the Purple Yuan sect were killed in order to go to that Tianyu G.O.D. melon. That Tianyu G.O.D. melon could extend their life. They will definitely help, but the question is, how long can you extend their lifespan for? Su Dazhong asked. You don't have many Tianyu G.O.D. melon, right? Don't worry about that, I'm not using Tianyu G.O.D. melon S to extend their lifespan. They can probably continue for around 1,000 years. Chen Xiang planned to refine Tianyu G.O.D. melon into divine pellet, and Tianyu G.O.D. melon was a heaven-grade divine pellet. Moreover, one of them was quite big. He felt that if he were to refine it into a divine pellet, there would be a lot of them. They didn't come so quickly to mess with me. I'm going to find those old guys. You have to make sure that your pills are useful, or those old guys will risk their lives to drag me down with them. Su Dazhong said. I'll stay here for the time being. If anything happens, I can block it as well. Chen Xiang said. Su Dazhong was more assured with Chen Xiang's strength. Chen Xiang being able to defeat Fang Zitian so easily was enough to prove that he was extremely powerful. Time to start concocting pills. Chen Xiang entered the secret room and sat down on the ground, smiling bitterly. Who asked you to be such a powerful G.O.D.? Su Yuqing laughed. In this star law divine realm, there aren't many handsome and young powerful G.O.D.s like you. It just so happens that I met one of them. My good wife, now that you mention it, I'm suddenly in high spirit. Chen Xiang laughed, as though he was filled with energy. Chen Xiang had 2 Tianyu G.O.D. melon in his hands, and these were heaven-grade divine medicines. Now that he was going to use this Tianyu G.O.D. melon to refine the pellet, he did not know what the result would be. Furthermore, this would be his first time refining a heaven-grade divine pellet. You guys need to plant more spirit seed inside. If you succeed, I might need to use a lot of spirit seed. Chen Xiang said. Chen Xiang took out the chuangs. Hi plus God furnace, placed it into the divine furnace, and then began to use the various methods of the heavenly alchemy to create this Tianyu God melon. 4 hours later, the originally somewhat worried Chen Xiang heaved a sigh of relief. Tianyu God melon was not that kind of stubborn divine medicine, unlike the 3 lotus dan that was previously refined. Of course, even if it wasn't a stubborn divine medicine, it was still possible to use it. Furthermore, it could also increase the speed and decrease the difficulty. The Tianyu God melon was not stubborn, but it was still a heaven-grade divine medicine, so it required a lot of time to refine. Chen Xiang had to use more than 1 day to refine the Tianyu God melon into a lump of solid medicinal paste. After the king grade's divine medicine was refined, it became a very viscous medicinal liquid. Now that the heaven-grade divine medicine had been refined, it made the soil feel slightly wet. If it is refined, it will definitely be able to condense crystals, as expected of a heaven-rank divine medicine. Chen Xiang exclaimed. He was very confident in his ability to condense a pill. It was just that he suddenly wanted to try using the crash method. Although the crash method was extremely dangerous, it could greatly enhance the quality of the divine pellet. Previously, when Chen Xiang used the Shangpin medicine to refine the pellet, he could use the crash method to refine the Jingshan Dan. C. 2345. C. 2345. After Chen Xiang thought about it, he decided to use the crash method to try to refine this Tianyu God melon. Because he was currently in need of Tianyu God melon, he couldn't copy that many Tianyu God melon in a short time. However, if he were to use the crash method, he would be able to improve his quality and increase the effect. However, there would be a huge risk. Chen Xiang had already made up his mind. He now divided the white, jade-like clump into 5 parts, and at the same time, started to circulate the pure energy condensed by the divine deity within his body into 5 parts. He was going to use these 5 parts to push the 5 medicinal clumps forward violently later. After making his preparations, Chen Xiang took a deep breath, and with a stuffy sound, he saw the 5 jade S inside the pill furnace colliding against a single point in a short distance with extreme speed and ferocity. Boom. Chen Xiang had to use his mind to control it from the beginning to the end, and the moment he collided with it, the explosive power spread to his mind. It followed his mind and shook his divine sense C, causing him to suddenly spin. Not bad. Chen Xiang quickly recovered and controlled the many golden white stones inside the pill furnace. They looked like shattered pieces of gold and jade. Motherf *Ker, they've turned into rocks. If they were to fuse together, they would definitely become the highest quality jade crystal. Chen Xiang exclaimed. Of course, if he were to take these pieces out to eat, it would have quite a good effect. But Chen Xiang was a person who pursued perfection, so he had to refine them one at a time. To fuse with these pieces of debris was a very troublesome task. Chen Xiang controlled the chuangs. Hi plus God furnace and released a strong flame. He refined almost all of the energy contained within the pieces to reach a balance. With the help of the chuangs, Hi plus God furnace, Chen Xiang completed this step with ease. It only took half a day or so. Now he began to combine all these fragments into a large bead. It took another half-day and the quality of the golden jade pellet had increased by a lot. This place can be divided into 20 pills. After calculating it, Chen Xiang used the heavenly alchemy's method to turn the golden jade pellet into 20 little beads. Just press it a bit more and it will succeed. The 20 little beads were still relatively large, and if they were continued to be compressed, the quality would increase by quite a bit. This step was rather difficult because he needed to suppress 20 of them. Took him 2 full days. I finally succeeded. Chen Xiang took out 20 golden jade-colored pellets from the Chuang's Hi plus God furnace. They were extremely beautiful, like jade bead. 20, it's not even that much when laying eggs. She even ran out of the netherworld a Dumber ring, and carefully looked at the heaven-grade divine pellet that Chen Xiang had just refined. Air also flew out from the furnace. This was the first time she saw a heaven-grade divine pill that had just come out of the furnace. Hee, I'm amazing, right? Chen Xiang laughed proudly. Formidable. Su Yuqing was also very happy that she had such a strong man. She kissed Chen Xiang on the lips. Seeing Chen Xiang and Su Yuqing pause, silently kissing, Yue knew that they were prepared to do something shameful, so she quickly entered the ring. As expected, Chen Xiang and Su Yuqing had already become entangled together, overturning the rain and overturning the clouds, carefree and happy. Chen Xiang came out of the secret room and walked to the living room of Su Dazhong's pavilion, only to see 6 old men sitting there. These old men all had wrinkled faces and their mouths agape. One look was enough to tell that they were dying of old age. Chen Xiang had to admire Su Dazhong for being able to invite these peak divine lord who were about to die of old age. Brat, you've finally come out. Where's your divine pellet? Hurry up. If you don't hurry up, they will be hiccuping all the time. Su Dazhong desperately tried to send a sound transmission to Chen Xiang. Chen Xiang thought so too. These elders' bodies were filled with death aura, the skin on their bodies was completely lifeless, their eyes that were quietly creasing were dim and gloomy, as though they could die at any time. Chen Xiang took out the divine pill he had just refined and smelled the aroma. The 6 elders opened their eyes wide. What divine pill is this? An old man asked. His body was so old that he couldn't even speak, so he used his divine force to condense sound waves to ask. His voice was very loud and clear. This is Heavenly Life Pill. Chen Xiang said, quickly eat it. Chen Xiang gave Su Dazhong a few pills, and told him to give them over. Very quickly, the 6 old men had all consumed the life bestowal divine pill, and they were currently closing their eyes to absorb the medicinal effects. Su Dazhong's heart was very perturbed. He was worried that these divine pellets would be useless, but he was incomparably shocked afterwards, because after these elders ate Chen Xiang's heavenly life divine pellet, in the process of refining, their skin began to quickly undergo a tremendous change. Chen Xiang and Su Dazhong could immediately see that their originally shriveled and wrinkled faces had gradually turned rosy and white, as tender as a baby's. Not long after, these 6 elders' faces were completely red. Originally, they were all hunchbacked and had small statures, but now they had all become robust old men, and they had yet to completely refine the medicinal strength. Good boy, you're too awesome. Su Dazhong was extremely excited in his heart. He pinched Chen Xiang's hand with all his might and sent a sound transmission to Chen Xiang. I really want to give birth to a few more daughters to reward you. You better not let Yuqing know about this. Chen Xiang said with a voice transmission and laughed. After Su Dazhong and Chen Xiang waited for more than 2 hours, the 6 elderly men suddenly opened their eyes emitting light. Although they had heads full of white hair, their bodies were filled with vitality, and compared to before, they were like the difference between heaven and earth. 6 seniors, how do you feel right now? Chen Xiang hurriedly asked. This was also the first time he had refined the life bestowal divine pill, so he did not know how strong the effects were. Very good, I feel that I can live for another 5,000 years. The Tianshu divine pill is truly magical. Not only can it extend our lifespan, it can also restore our physical bodies to their peak. The old man said excitedly. The other elders were the same as well. Even though they were all from peak divine lord, when they looked at Chen Xiang, they gave him respectful gazes. They wanted to kneel down and thank him for giving them a chance to be reborn. Thank you very much. One of the elders had an excited expression and immediately thanked Qin Xiang. The other elders also thanked him. Of course, they also knew what they had to do in the future. Su Dazhong had told them before that it wouldn't be difficult for them at all. C 2346. C 2346 Then, Qin Xiang started to chat with the elders and knew that they were all big shots of some powerful forces. It was just that because they were too old, they decided to stay hidden and seek for breakthroughs. There were many small and medium-sized forces in the Purple Yuan Heavenly Star, and these powers would easily give birth to this kind of peak Divine Lord. Su Dazhong knew a few of them, and before these few elders went into seclusion, when they were still rather energetic, Su Dazhong would often go find them to ask them many questions. Now that they had consumed the life bestowal pill, they had recovered almost all of their strength. However, they did not plan to return to their own factions, as they knew very well that if they wanted to extend their lifespan, staying here was the best option. Su Dazhong heard someone knocking on the door, and after he opened it, a middle-aged man spoke anxiously. "Leader, Fang Zitian has come." Furthermore, he brought a large group of people with him. If it was before, Su Dazhong would definitely be very nervous, but now, he was not afraid. The 6 Peak Divine Lords were all strong. Although everyone was a Peak Divine Lord, there were strong and weak points. The few elders here have already been in the Peak Divine Lord for many years. Their God powers were refined to a very pure state amongst the Peak Divine Lord, although they were not the strongest, but they were stronger than many of the other Peak Divine Lords. "Come, let's go out and meet them. I want to see what these 2 fence-sitters and a group of traitors can do." When Su Dazhong was betrayed by those people, he was so angry that he almost rushed over to kill him. "Seniors, I'll need your help soon. Thank you for your hard work," Su Dazhong said to the 6 elders. "It's fine. We have just recovered and wish to see if we are truly younger than we were back then." An old man chuckled. Su Dazhong walked in front, followed by the 6 elders. Outside Su Dazhong's pavilion was a relatively size small plaza, and the moment they walked out, they saw that small plaza was filled with people. Qin Xiang saw Fang Zitian. He stood at the very front, and Fang Zitian was also staring fiercely at him at that moment, because back then when Fang Zitian lost miserably to Qin Xiang, it was a great humiliation to him. He did not care about whether he could marry Su Yuqing. He only cared about his own reputation. "What are all of you doing?" Su Dazhong coldly swept his eyes across this group of people. Now that he was fully confident, he was not afraid of them. "Nothing much, we just feel that you are not worthy to be the leader, so we wanted to ask you to give us your seat." The one who spoke was Fang Zitian. "Oh, how am I not fit to be a leader?" Su Dazhong laughed. Seeing that Su Dazhong was still so calm, Fang Zitian and the elders beside him were extremely confused. They knew very well that Su Dazhong no longer had any power left at his side. With one look, it was clear that they did not have much time left to live. Qin Xiang immediately determined that the 2 elders should be the 3rd and 4th elder, who in turn was the fence-sitter that Su Dazhong had mentioned. The leader needs to possess a very strong power, and not only do you have this power, you also need to have an expert capable of supporting the entire Purple Yuan sect. You do not have any prestige in the Purple Yuan sect, and even the experts of the Purple Yuan sect do not listen to you," Fang Zitian said. Su Dazhong laughed. "Who said I am called the unmoving expert? Do you want to compete? Your people are stronger, or my people are stronger." "Relying on him?" Fang Zitian looked at Qin Xiang. "What, is he that bad? I remember that you were defeated by him," Su Dazhong said. "If he can defeat us, we can forget about it. However, right now, he can't even defeat me," Fang Zitian sneered. "Back then, I only made a mistake, and because I could not use weapons, my overall strength weakened by a lot. That's why I lost to him." "You can defeat him with a weapon," Su Dazhong laughed. "I possess a powerful divine weapon, and this is also a part of my strength. He can use weapons as well, but he must also find a powerful divine weapon," Fang Zitian said, and took out a purple blade. Seeing the big blade, Su Dazhong's face changed. He became gloomy. "No wonder you went along with them, so that's how it is. Divine weapon, purple divinity saber. This is the divine weapon used by the great emperor of the Purple Yuan Heavenly Star when he was still alive," an old man behind Su Dazhong said. Generally speaking, King Grade S were considered relatively rarer, but Peak Divine Lord S generally had them, and if they were above that, they would have Heaven Grade Divine equipment. Above Heaven Grade were Saint Rank artifacts, which were extremely rare, and this Purple Yuan Heavenly Star only had a few. Having a powerful divine tool could indeed raise one's strength by a lot. If such a powerful divine weapon couldn't be used, then it would indeed become much weaker. Chen Xiang didn't know whether he was in a strange state, but when he saw such a good thing, he couldn't help but want to use his heavenly magic sword to hack at it a few times to see if it could be hacked apart. "Su Dazhong, if you pass this position to Fang Zitian, we can let you leave the Purple Yuan Heavenly Star safe and sound. If you are not willing, then we can only fight," the third elder said in a strange tone. Fang Zitian thinks that since he is able to become the leader, he must be very confident in his own strength. "If we can accept his challenge and defeat him, wouldn't you agree with my father-in-law's strength?" Chen Xiang stood up and said. "You aren't afraid of death?" Fang Zitian laughed coldly. "That's fine too. Today we will compete once again, and this time I will definitely be able to cut you down with my blade. Brat, let me fight him. This purple divinity saber is not easy to deal with." Su Dazhong pulled Chen Xiang and said, "Father-in-law, trust me." Chen Xiang smiled at him. Su Dazhong thought for a while, then nodded. "Then you be careful." He felt that since Chen Xiang was able to concoct the Heavenly Life Divine Pill, he must have had a lot of power. He didn't need to worry. "Do you have the heart to let Su Yuqing be a widow?" Fang Zitian mocked. "But you don't have to worry, I will take good care of him, haha." Chen Xiang's face suddenly turned cold. It would have been fine if they were targeting him, but the person he loved the most was involved. It was also the person he was the most enraged with. "Can we start now?" Chen Xiang's voice was ice-cold. "Wait, it would be better to create a barrier. From now on, it is mine. I don't want this place to become ruins," Fang Zitian said. The enchantment was quickly set up, and Chen Xiang and Fang Zitian entered into it. At this moment, Fang Zitian was filled with confidence, because he had the powerful purple God blade in his hand. He felt that even if his master Su Dazhong took action, he would still be able to kill Su Dazhong with ease. C-2347. C-2347. Last time, when Fang Zitian was fighting, he didn't expect that Chen Xiang's eyes would also release such a strong attack. This time, he was already prepared. "Don't you need a weapon? Of course, even if you use it, it will only be a waste. In front of the purple God saber, your divine weapons are nothing but trash," Fang Zitian said haughtily as he brandished the purple God blade in his hand. Of course Chen Xiang wanted to use it, but he wouldn't show off his powerful divine weapons like the other party. "Begin." This was what Su Dazhong had shouted. From the start, Fang Zitian had immediately stepped forward and viciously slashed at Chen Xiang. He had instantly unleashed hundreds of slashes to completely cover Chen Xiang, sealing off all avenues of retreat for him. However, when the purple deity blade struck Chen Xiang's body, a clear dang-dang sound was emitted. It was as if the blade was Ting steel and was actually unable to strike Chen Xiang. Fang Zitian was startled. He did not know what was going on, but Chen Xiang's body was extremely strdy, as if there was a strange layer of energy on the surface of his body that was able to block his purple God blade. Everyone present were all experienced and knowledgeable, and at this moment they were equally shocked to think that Chen Xiang's body was actually so terrifying. In fact, Chen Xiang used the diamond heavenly elephant of the heavenly elephant to make his body as stu r dy as the stars. I don't believe it. Fang Zitian immediately went up again. This time, he channeled a very powerful force into the purple God saber, causing the blade to release a blinding purple light. Humph! Chen Xiang suddenly took action, a cold light flashed in his hand, and the heavenly magic sword appeared. He and the heavenly magic sword had already reached one with the sword, and as if the heavenly magic sword was connected to his flesh and blood, he instantly transferred his immense power onto the heavenly magic sword, and hacked towards the purple divinity saber that was SLA's HI plus-ing towards him. Ding! The moment the purple G-O D blade touched the heavenly magic sword, it was cut off. The moment the tip of the blade was broken, a force was sent flying out across HI plus-ing into the barrier. After the purple divinity saber that was glowing with a purple light was chopped in half, purple gas continued to pour out from within. In the blink of an eye, the broken half of the divine saber had turned dull, as though it was made of SCR-AP metal. This is not true. Fang Zitian's body shook violently. He could not believe that such a powerful divine weapon could actually be cut apart by a sword without a sharp point. Fang Zitian had used quite a few methods to test the strength of the purple G-O D blade before, if not he wouldn't have been so confident before. Not just Fang Zitian, even Su Dazhong was stunned. The few elders behind him took deep breaths, because they had all seen how terrifying the purple God blade was. But now it had been cut in half by a single slash. Compared to divine weapons, you will only die faster. In the instant that Fang Zitian was lost in thought, Chen Xiang had teleported to meet with his sword. Before Fang Zitian could even react, his head was chopped off by Chen Xiang. The moment Fang Zitian's complicated-looking head landed on the ground, a ball of flame shot out from his palm like a flaming meteorite. Boom! After Fang Zitian's head was hit by the ball of fire, it turned into a ball of fire and exploded. Su Dazhong took a deep breath. He felt that he and the few elders behind him did not need to do anything. Chen Xiang alone could solve all the problems here, because even if it was him, he would not be able to kill Fang Zitian so easily. Fang Zitian had personally groomed Fang Zitian, so Su Dazhong's strength was extremely clear to him. Even if he were to personally make a move, with Fang Zitian possessing the purple deity's blade, defeating him would be extremely difficult. Let's get rid of this kid first. The third elder shouted, all of you, go install Su Dazhong. With that, the third elder and the few elders rushed forward, wanting to kill Chen Xiang. The 6 elders behind Su Dazhong also left their original places, and in the blink of an eye, they arrived beside Chen Xiang. An extremely powerful aura erupted from their bodies, causing those who had rushed over to attack, and they couldn't help but tremble with fear. Kill them all, don't leave a single one alive. Su Dazhong shouted. He himself also took out a divine sword, rushed towards the enemy and started killing. He had long wanted to get rid of those who betrayed him. The anger that he had suppressed for so long had finally been vented out. In just a few moments a few of them were killed by him. Old thing, so what if you killed undead divine race for your longevity? Now you have to die too. Chen Xiang caught the sword of the third elder with his empty hand, and 2 red beams of light shot out from his eyes into the other party's divine sense C. F. The third elder screamed as his divine sense C was attacked by Chen Xiang. I'd like to see who ordered you all to do so. Chen Xiang chopped off the third elder's head, then pinched the head and used the soul-absorbing devil spell, searching through the memories in his head. As expected, he quickly found the mysterious old man's memories. This group of big shots of forces, who were about to die due to the instigation of the mysterious elder, secretly planned to kill undead divine race, killing one another in the same sect. Su Dazhong, you will die a miserable death. The fourth elder screamed miserably. His body was already badly mangled by the humph. I'm just cleaning up the place. After Su Dazhong settled this matter, he jumped over to the fourth clan elder and hacked off his throat. In just a few moments, all the people they brought with them were killed, and this small plaza was covered in blood. Fortunately, this formation was laid earlier. Otherwise, my little pavilion would have been destroyed. Su Dazhong laughed. His group of Peak Divine Lord were in an incredible battle. If this were to continue, the barrier would not be maintained, and most of the Purple Yuan sect would be flattened. These guys are really weak. Chen Xiang faced the corpses on the ground and continued to shoot out BALS of flame. Seeing his flames, Su Dazhong and the few elders felt chills down their spines, as they quickly distanced themselves from Chen Xiang. It's not that they are too weak, it's that you are too strong. If not for you killing the third elder, things would not have ended so quickly. Su Dazhong said. Have you already Serpa? As said the Peak Divine Lord Realm? An old man asked. Well, it's hard to say. After all, he had only condensed the 8th divine deity now. I can go and take down the everlasting mountain now. If I don't kill those two fellows up there, I'll be worried. Su Dazhong said. Everlasting mountain is still quite strong. After all, there are still Danji, Dnsti Toot and the clan of elders up there. Adding on the people brought by the great elder and second elder, they are much more powerful than those two wall SSES. Su Dazhong did not know about the matters of the everlasting mountain, so he felt that he should go and try. However, Chen Xiang shook his head and said, We cannot make a move against the everlasting mountain now. We must obtain absolute strength before we can strike. C-2348. C-2348, the matter regarding the Purple Yuan sect, had already been settled by Chen Xiang. When he was searching through the third elder's memories, he had found out that there was some information regarding that mysterious old man. As the Peak Divine Lords, who were about to die of old age, they knew how to contact that mysterious old man. After they killed the undead divine race, they would take its corpse to that old man to extract its power. Chen Xiang also knew how to find the mysterious old man. Father-in-law, are you all right now? Chen Xiang said. If not, then I will go back to work. No, sometimes I'll look for you again. Su Dazhong patted Chen Xiang's shoulder and laughed. Go and busy yourself. Chen Xiang was now going to look for the mysterious old man. He had seen this mysterious old man's divine soul before, and that divine soul had been smashed to death by Ren Xen in a fit of rage. However, that mysterious old man should have a lot of divine soul. When Chen Xiang told this matter to Yue was extremely excited, and said, We must find this Astar, the one who caused the death of so many people in undead divine race. If only it was his real body. Of course, if it's divine soul, I would also try to use the soul-absorbing devil spell on him. If I want to know more about the heavenly law and I can only find out from him. Chen Xiang said. Where is he hiding now? Yue asked. I'm on top of a Xian-grade star, I'll go find him now. Chen Xiang immediately left the Purple Yuan heavenly star, and after teleporting for a few rounds, he arrived on top of one of the Earth stage stars and flew away. Since the profound rank star did not reach the transmission array, it could only go to the nearest Earth stage stars and then fly through the air. Chen Xiang used the power of SPAC to teleport, so he quickly went to the profound rank star. Although this place was a profound rank star, there were a lot of people here. It was just that most of them were mortals, and the spirit energy here was very spa. The mysterious old man must have his own ulterior motives for hiding in this place. Once Chen Xiang arrived here, he immediately hid his presence and disguised himself as a mortal, heading towards the mysterious old man's hiding place. Very quickly, he arrived beside a big house. There was a long queue here, and the people queuing up were all strong and STURDYUs. Chen Xiang used the third elder's memories and confirmed that the mysterious old man lived inside. "What are you guys waiting here for?" Chen Xiang asked a young man who looked simple and honest. "We are going to learn the soaring sky technique from God," the young man said. Chen Xiang immediately understood who the mysterious elder was trying to find, but why was that so? The mortals on this planet only had a very shallow understanding of the path of cultivation. Many of them were unable to leave this planet. Naturally, no one knew about the matters of the outer sect. Occasionally, some powers would pass by and check if there were any good seedlings that were rarely seen. In order to meet the mysterious old man, Chen Xiang had to line up as well. After waiting in line for half a day, it was finally his turn. The person responsible for the assessment was not the mysterious old man, but a middle-aged man. When Chen Xiang saw the middle-aged man, he could not help but frown, because the middle-aged man gave off an aura that he was extremely familiar with. "Counter power," Chen Xiang said in shock. The only one who possessed such power was the evil spirit race, and the evil spirit race had already been annihilated by him. At this time, he thought that the evil spirit race was related to the mysterious old man, and he suspected that the evil spirit race was from another world. "What's your name? You're in pretty good shape." The middle-aged man used a type of stone to tap back and forth on Chen Xiang's body, and the stone occasionally trembled a little. "Shen Fei," Chen Xiang said. "All right, you've said. Please head over there." The middle-aged man pointed to a room in his mansion. When Chen Xiang walked over, he smelt a very faint scent of blood, and then he used the Dao Heart Eye to look, only to see that the interior of the house was a ma's of blood red. It was extremely similar to the Starry Sky Blood Devil that he had seen previously. Starry Sky Blood Devil and Evil Spirit Race were extremely good at devouring powerful bodies. Chen Xiang was shocked. There was clearly a very terrifying guy in the room, a youth who was continuously devouring his own body. Now Chen Xiang understood that the mysterious old man was not accepting a disciple, but was looking for a youth with decent flesh. This fellow is truly malicious. Although Chen Xiang knew that something extremely terrifying was happening inside, he still walked over because he wasn't afraid in the slightest. When he walked into the room, he saw an old man sitting on a chair. His white hair was dyed red by blood, and his mouth was covered with blood. Seeing this old man, Chen Xiang was overjoyed, because this was the mysterious old man. He was the one who instigated the powerhouses to kill undead divine race, and even Dragon Kylan Ren Xian was misled by him. "Young man, come over here. I can help you learn the soaring sky technique very quickly." The old man chuckled. His current appearance was very scary. His white hair was all sticky with dried blood. However, he pretended to be benevolent and pretended to be so. If Chen Xiang had not known about his situation, he might have been tricked too. After Chen Xiang walked over, the heavenly magic sword appeared in a flash. Without saying a word, he chopped off the old man's head with his fastest speed. "It's you." Even after the mysterious old man's head was chopped off, there was no blood. Furthermore, he was still talking. Just now, when Chen Xiang had used his power, he had recognized him from his aura. Chen Xiang was the human who had awakened the Dragon Kylan that day. Chen Xiang grabbed onto the old man's head. He sensed that there was a force surging towards him. His eyes immediately shot out 2 rays of gold light and entered the old man's divine sense sea. The elder's divine sense sea was a field of blood red. The sky was filled with blood mist, But this did not stop Chen Xiang from attacking his divine sense C. The old man screamed again and again as he angrily said, "If you fight against us, there won't be a good result. You have to understand that even an old heavenly Tao creature like us has died in our hand. Our strength is not something you can imagine. I only know that you guys are not good people. No matter how strong you are, I will still fight you." After Chen Xiang finished attacking the old man's divine sense C, he used the soul-absorbing devil spell and started to search through his memories. This was also the old man's real body, but his power had been sealed by the natural law divine spirit, so he could only use the extremely weak counterpower, while his body continuously aged and relied on evil techniques to maintain it. "It seems like you don't know much." Chen Xiang took out his chuangs. Hi plus God furnace. Why is the chuangs Hi plus God furnace in your hands? The old man exclaimed. "Enter." Chen Xiang threw the old man's head into the chuangs Hi plus God furnace and burned it to ashes. Then, he walked out of the house and killed the middle-aged man in charge of testing. This was a evil spirit race. C-2349. C-2349 Chen Xiang had already heard some things about the death of the natural law divine spirit and the infernal realm of the heavens from the mysterious old man's memories. Just like he had speculated, the reason why the undead divine race was exterminated was because the mysterious elder had purposely incited the big shots of the other powers to do it. The reason was because the four divine races was unable to join forces to reinforce the seal, thus the power of the seal would be weakened, and when the time came, the things inside the heavenly Tao of H.E.L. would be able to break open the seal and escape. Chen Xiang, what exactly is in that H.E.L.? Yue was extremely curious. The strongest power in the evil spirit race is all inside. This group of people all wanted to disrupt the circulation of the natural law principles, so they were all sent into the heavenly law H.E.L. by the natural law divine spirit. Chen Xiang said, "That old man also belongs to evil spirit race. Why didn't the natural law divine spirit just kill them all?" Yue asked, puzzled. "Natural law divine spirit is so powerful, they should be easy to kill. This involves matters above natural law divine realm. There are gods protecting those evil spirit race above, that's why they stopped natural law divine spirit." Chen Xiang said, "Natural law divine spirit's death should be related to the divine spirit protecting evil spirit race. I really don't understand how these gods were born, and why they protected the evil spirit race." Yue said, "For example, the evil spirit race is a technique that specializes in restraining natural law principles. Those spirit beasts are protecting the evil spirit race, and they probably want to destroy the other law gods, so that they can control the other laws and thus control the heavenly Tao." Chen Xiang said. Now, Chen Xiang already knew how terrifying the evil spirits were in the heavenly mystery realm. They were suppressed by the power of the heavenly mystery in the heavenly mystery realm. If they ran out, no one could save them. "I can only wait for the undead divine race from another world to come," Chen Xiang said. "If they do not come, we will not be able to reinforce the seal. If the evil spirit race inside were to run out, they would definitely destroy the natural law principles and burn the entire star law divine realm to ashes. When that happens, no one would know what would happen." Chen Xiang returned to the Tsang Cloud City, and immediately began cultivating pill refining in seclusion. He had to reach the peak of quickly, and only then would his second divine sense see appear. He was very clear that the peak divine lord was only the peak of star law divine realm, but to the heavenly Tao, the peak divine lord was just too weak. Chen Xiang now understood why Ren Xian, this powerful dragon Kailan, was able to say that even he was unable to resist the thing that came out of H.E.L.O. the strength of the peak Divine Lord is simply unable to contend against the evil spirits of the heavens. Chen Xiang frowned. Yu Qing, how is your cultivation progress? My second divine sense C has already stabilized. I will now begin to try and connect the divine sense C within the divine soul with my own divine sense C. At that time, if I can simultaneously use the bones within my divine soul, then I can consider it as me successfully breaking through the realm of peak Divine Lord. Su Yuqing said. She knew that Star Law Divine Realm was facing a huge potential crisis. Good, if you succeed, you should be able to try out this kind of cultivation method, Chen Xiang said. With my pill refining support, cultivating the divine soul to the same level as training the body should not be a problem. Even the experts of the peak Divine Lord S for all these years were unable to overcome that slash, but Su Yuqing's cultivation method was more suitable for that. Only by cultivating 2 divine sense CS, cultivating 200 GODS level S and 18 bones, would I be able to finally merge divine deity and bones into my body. This way, you will step into the first level of heavenly law, the Tao Ti realm. Chen Xiang said. This was something he had learnt from the memories of the old man he swallowed. After the peak Divine Lord was the heavenly Tao realm. After condensing the first stage of the Tao body, one could obtain 1 or even 2 kinds of natural law principles. Right now, Chen Xiang was still far from the Tao Ti realm. He had never seen his second divine sense C, so after he appeared, he still had to condense his own 100 GODS level. I have to work hard to cultivate as well. I can't fall behind now. She knew that she was currently too weak. Chen Xiang, who was originally much weaker than him, had now greatly said her. Chen Xiang was currently refining pills. He did not need to worry about the divine pellets that could condense divine deity. The 9 Yin and Yang Dan S were the best. Currently, the most difficult thing was to condense a divine pellet with bones. Although he could refine King Grade S, Bone Level Dan could not condense bones just by eating them. Therefore, he had to use the Bone Level Fruit S as an experiment, because if he could dig out the energy of Bone Level Fruit S that could condense bones after eating them. After trying many different refining techniques, Chen Xiang was still unable to successfully refine them. Those were techniques he had comprehended from the heavenly alchemy. Why can't I succeed? Chen Xiang looked at Bone Level Fruit in a daze. This was the hardest pill he had ever seen. The Bone Level Fruit was very brittle. Its divine fruit could be easily bitten open with a single bite, which also increased the difficulty of refining it. Am I not allowed to use conventional techniques? Chen Xiang said as he looked at the Bone Level Fruit. The training you're doing right now is not just a regular training. Su Yuqing came out of the ring, laid on Chen Xiang's back, and gently rubbed his shoulders. She knew that Chen Xiang had worked hard these past few days. Chen Xiang held her jade hand, pulled her into his embrace, and then tenderly caressed her back. What I mean is, I can't use my current method, I have to boldly try other methods. Su Yuqing snuggled up to Chen Xiang's chest in an extremely intimate manner. Her jade-like hands slid across Chen Xiang's chest as she gently asked, "Then, what method does it have that you can use to try it? You seem to have tried a lot." Chen Xiang caressed her face and laughed. "Then do you think I can still try to be bold? It's pretty whimsical." Su Yuqing's beautiful eyes turned. At this time, Chen Xiang's bad hand had already seeped into her clothes, and she, who was thinking, immediately pouted, slapping Chen Xiang's arm. "Scoundrel!" Su Yuqing yelled with a tender smile, and then, she struggled out of Chen Xiang's bad hands. "You always use flames to refine pills, and even though you can control your flames very gently, they are still flames. You might be able to use other powers to refine it, such as gentle water." "Even water can be used to concoct pills?" Chen Xiang laughed. "That is truly wishful thinking. I'm just talking nonsense, don't take it seriously." Su Yuqing kissed Chen Xiang's face, and just as she was about to return to the Yuyao ring, she felt Chen Xiang's embrace of her waist. Sensing that Chen Xiang's current emotions were burning, her face blushed and she fell into Chen Xiang's embrace. After Chen Xiang finished being happy, his entire body became extremely relaxed, and Su Yuqing returned to the Yin Yao ring to cultivate. How can I use water to refine pills? Chen Xiang laid on the ground as he rummaged through the various methods of heavenly alchemy in his mind. He wanted to see if there were any alchemy in the water. C-2350. C-2350. Chen Xiang didn't have any other ways now, so he decided to follow Su Yuqing's instructions and try it out. The bone-level fruit was a very special type of divine medicine. Although it was made by a king grade, it was very weak and would require very gentle power to ensure that it would not be destroyed. When the various methods in the heavenly alchemy were combined, it would also be a new method, so Chen Xiang needed more time to find it. Got it, water and fire refinement. Chen Xiang, who was lying on the ground, suddenly jumped up, looking extremely excited. How's the fire and water refining? Su Yuqing heard Chen Xiang shouting and immediately asked. I don't know yet, but I'll give it a try. After Chen Xiang took out the chuangs Hi plus God furnace, he did not place the bone-level fruit inside. Instead, he released a large amount of his divine sense seize power into the chuangs Hi plus God furnace. He did not trigger the chuangs Hi plus God furnace to produce flames. He continued like this for half an hour before he finally threw a bone-level fruit into the chuangs Hi plus God furnace. The chuangs Hi plus God furnace's interior was already filled with liquid. This was all condensed out of Chen Xiang's God power, and it was even icy cold water. Only after the bone-level fruit was soaked in the water did he release the flames. Through precise control, he kept the God power water inside at a certain temperature. In this way, not only would it become hot, but it would also not directly burn the bone-level fruit. After a few hours, Chen Xiang said joyfully, "There's hope." The bone-level fruit had already started to be refined and fused into the water because it was squeezed by this heat. When he was refining the pill, he had told Su Yuqing about the process of refining the water and fire. Su Yuqing did not expect his nonsense to give Chen Xiang such great inspiration. After the black bone-level fruit was refined, it actually became white. Even the clear God power water was dyed white. Chen Xiang said he was not afraid that the bone-level fruit was not pure enough, because the water of the God power itself was very pure. After the bone-level fruit was refined, it would just turn into a medicinal liquid, which meant that the quality of the fruit itself did not reach the level of a king grade. When the bone-level fruit showed signs of being refined, not long after, the entire bone-level fruit melted, and the clear God power water became silvery white. As long as I combine and compress all of this water, I should be able to condense a pill. Chen Xiang immediately strengthened his flames and slowly burned the chuangs Hi plus God furnace's medicinal liquid. As he skillfully incinerated the water, it gradually turned into a silvery white mist of light, forming a large cyclone within the pill furnace. I should be able to condense a few. But if I can condense one, then the best and the highest quality will be obtained. At this moment, Chen Xiang was extremely excited, because this bone-level fruit that was difficult to refine was finally going to be conquered by him. The BALLS of energy inside the chuangs Hi plus God furnace gathered together and were compressed by Chen Xiang's consciousness into a ball of medicinal liquid, releasing a dazzling silver-white light. This step is easy. Chen Xiang started to condense the pellet just like how he had concocted the other pellet. He kept compressing the medicinal liquid, but what he did not expect was that although the medicinal liquid was small, after compressing it once, it became extremely strong. which meant, if he were to continue, he would be able to successfully refine a Jingshan Dan. It's just a weak fruit. After being refined, it becomes a Jingshan Dan. Seems like its quality will increase a lot. Chen Xiang thought. The first time he ate bone-level fruit, he only needed to eat one to condense 1 bones. If he wanted to cultivate second time by eating bone-level fruit, he would need to eat 500, and the third time for 1,000. 500 at a time. The limit of condensing 8 bones was the 9th bones, which could not be condensed at all. This was what Gulong had told Chen Xiang. Chen Xiang felt that if he refined a bone-level fruit into a pellet, its quality would increase by a lot, and he wouldn't need to eat so many bone-level fruit. If he succeeded, he felt that if he ate the pellet refined by a bone-level fruit, he could condense the 8 bones very smoothly, which allowed them to cultivate a group of experts with 8 bones very quickly. Of course, his final goal was to refine the bone-level fruit into a pellet and eat it until it reached the 9th bones. It's a success, it's a Jingshan Dan. Chen Xiang quickly took out the silver pill from the furnace. What kind of divine pill is this? There are already bone-level Dan here, so you can't use that name anymore. Chen Xiang looked at the divine pellet and laughed. Yu Qing, you can choose a name. I refine this all because of your inspiration. I'm here to name it? Su Yu Qing came out from the serene demon ring, took the divine pellet and carefully examined it. With furrowed brows, she pondered for a moment, then said, "Let's call it the 9-bone divine pellet. I believe this kind of divine pellet will allow people to condense the 9th bones." "All right, let's call it 9-bone divine pill." Chen Xiang nodded his head. "Yu Qing, I remember that your divine soul only has 5 bones s. What's wrong? Do you want to use me to test the pill?" Su Yu Qing laughed. "Only you are more suitable." Chen Xiang took out a bone-level fruit and said it to her. "Try and see if you can condense the 6th divine deity after eating this bone-level fruit. If you can condense the 6th divine deity, then you can eat this 9-bone divine pellet again." Was also a little excited. To be able to eat the divine pellet that Chen Xiang had just created, she was, after all, the first person to eat the 9-bone divine pellet. Su Yu Qing immediately gave it a try. After she let her divine soul eat the bone-level fruit, she said, "It should take a day or 2. Chen Xiang nodded. He took the opportunity to refine a few 9-bone divine pills. A day had said, and Su Yu Qing ran out of the quiet dragon ring, happily laughing. "This bone-level fruit is also useful to my divine soul. It has allowed my divine soul to condense the 6th bones. Then just let your divine soul eat the 9-bone divine pellet right now. If one pellet is not enough, then eat another." Chen Xiang said. "Oh right, did you sleep soundly after eating the bone-level fruit with your divine soul?" After she falls asleep, my main body won't be able to get her up." Su Yu Qing nodded. "After she wakes up, she will have condensed the 6th bones. I won't fuse with divine soul first. I'll first eat this 9-bone divine pellet and see if I can condense the 7th divine deity," said. She was very happy to be able to help Chen Xiang test his pills. Chen Xiang kissed her, then let her begin. After Su Yu Qing entered the ring, he had also eaten a 9-bone divine pill, but there was no reaction. As expected, it's useless. Chen Xiang did not feel any medicinal power being emitted either. He waited for 4 whole hours, but there was no reaction at all. "My divine soul has fallen asleep. I think I've succeeded," Su Yu Qing shouted in surprise. Chen Xiang laughed. "We'll talk about it after we successfully condense the 7th bones." Chen Xiang planned to use 500 bone-level fruit to refine a 9-bone divine pill. See 2351. See 2351. Chen Xiang used 2 days of time, and used 10 bone-level fruit to refine a 9-bone divine pill. It was much higher than the one refined by the previous bone-level fruit. He did not know how many bone-level fruit were equivalent to, but he still needed Su Yuqing to test it first to know. After Su Yuqing's divine soul consumed 1 9-bone divine pellet, she had already successfully condensed the 7th bones. Now, Chen Xiang was letting her consume the divine pellet refined by the 10-bone-level fruit S. If only I can successfully condense the 8th bones. I can probably guess how many bone-level fruit S are needed to refine the bones, Chen Xiang said. Su Yuqing continued to try. In the short span of a few days, her divine soul had created 2 consecutive bones, which made her extremely happy, and she was naturally very willing to try it right now. Furthermore, her second divine sense C had already finished cultivating, and the 2 divine sense C were already slowly fusing. At that time, she would be able to use both her divine soul and her body's bones at the same time. Chen Xiang began to refine the 9-bone divine pill again. This time, he was going to try hard to refine 500 bone-level fruit into a single pellet. Right now, he only wanted to use this 9-bone divine pill to break through his current bottleneck and let himself condense his 9th bones. Refining all 500 bone-level fruit into pills required a lot of time. After all, 500 of them, even one of them, required a lot of time. I've succeeded. My divine soul has successfully condensed the 8th bones. It's too fast, am I dreaming? Su Yuqing's surprised voice could be heard. Chen Xiang also nodded in satisfaction. What I want is this kind of speed. Darling, you're so awesome. Su Yuqing praised. Following you is really not bad. Of course. Chen Xiang laughed proudly. I have expended a lot of thought and scheming to become stronger for the sake of the little lady beside me. 2 months had passed, said, and Chen Xiang had finally refined 500 bone-level fruit into a 9-bone divine pill. This 9-bone divine pill was only as big as a peanut, but it was extremely heavy. 500 pellets condensed from bone-level fruit, almost 50 kilograms. Chen Xiang weighed them in his hand. 100 kilograms was nothing to him. Can you successfully condense the 9th bones? Hurry up and try it out. Su Yuqing knew that Chen Xiang had been stuck at this bottleneck for a long time. Chen Xiang could not wait any longer. He anxiously consumed it, and the medicinal power immediately melted away. He suddenly felt very comfortable, and then fell asleep. Seeing Chen Xiang falling asleep, Su Yuqing and Yue immediately cheered, because they knew that Chen Xiang had succeeded. This was a sign that the bones would manifest after consuming the bone-level fruit or the 9-bone divine pill. Chen Xiang himself did not know that he was sleeping, so he did not know that the time outside was passing by. Leader hasn't come out yet? Feng Wu came to the villa and asked Dai Donggong. Not yet. It hasn't been a long time since he went into closed-door training. In the past, the longest time I spent in seclusion was over 1,000 years. Dai Donggong laughed. What urgent matter do you have to find him for? Feng Wu had been following Imperial concubine Lian and the others the entire time, and it had already been a year. At this time, the entire Hundreds of Flowers village had already moved to the top of the great heavenly star. Feng Wu came here obviously to tell Chen Xiang the good news. It's just that his friends and wife have all moved here. I want to tell him this news. Feng Wu said. Elder Dai, if he comes out from closed-door cultivation, tell him to hurry up and head to the great heavenly star. No problem. I also want to go to the great heavenly star later on. I heard from Wu Ji and the others that the 4 great divine beasts of 9 heaven world are all here, and are as powerful as the 4 great divine beasts of Star Law Divine Realm. Dai Donggong laughed. Feng Wu smiled and nodded. I can go to Elder Dai anytime. Now that Feng Wu had also joined the Hundreds of Flowers village, she knew that many of the women in the Hundreds of Flowers village had a good relations, Hi+P with Chen Xiang. She did not dare to ask which of them were Chen Xiang's wives, and only knew that Xue Xianxian, Lu Menger and Long Xue were his wives, while Dongfang Xinyue and Hua Xiangyue were his little maid. She wasn't sure about this, but she felt too embarrassed said to ask. However, when she was in Hundreds of Flowers village, there were many women who asked her about her relations. Hi+P with Qin Xiang, and they all thought that Qin Xiang had eaten her. The moment Feng Wu walked out of the villa, he saw a beautiful woman in white clothes walking over with a smile. Shui, why did you come? Feng Wu was very surprised. She knew that Shui was a white dragon, and it was very dangerous for divine dragon race to wander around randomly. Why can't I come? I'm not afraid, but hasn't little scoundrel come out yet? Long Shui asked. Following behind her was Gulong, who had brought her here. Gulong said helplessly. She insisted on pestering me to bring her over. I have no other choice. This ancestor is stronger than me, so you don't have to worry about her. Not yet. Feng Wu anxiously walked over. She was extremely worried about Long Shui. At that time Qin Xiang had said that she was looking for the 3 Lotus Dan's divine medicine, precisely to cure Long Shui's poison. I'll leave it to you when I go back. Gulong ran off as soon as he finished his words. Feng Wu, bring me around here. Little scoundrel's power has been here for a long time. He must have controlled this place well, so it should be very safe. Long Shui laughed. And Feng Wu laughed, then held Long Shui's hand as they walked down the street. Along the way, Long Shui caught all the fruits at the stalls, and every one of them was more than half full. Feng Wu was in charge of buying the fruits for the Xin Yuan stone, so the fruits were very cheap. Shui, is elder brother Xin really that bad? Why do you keep calling him little scoundrel? Feng Wu asked with a smile. Sometimes this guy's bad to the bone, and sometimes he's so honest. Long Shui laughed tenderly. He's not really broken. Otherwise, you would definitely have been eaten by him to the point where not even your bones would remain. So it's like that. Was he home to a lot of women? I always feel that his relations, Hi+P with those girls is very good. Feng Wu asked again. Because Long Shui seemed to be more mischievous and easygoing, she dared to ask about this matter. After all, she was also very curious. Not much, most of them are pretty close to her. Of course, many of them are interested in him and have received great favors from him. Long Shui said. She understood all the women around Qin Xiang a little. Long Shui took out a snow-white fruit and wanted to take a beautiful bite, but unexpectedly, the fruit was snatc head away. She was just about to go crazy with rage, when she saw Qin Xiang standing in front of her, smiling as he ate the fruit. Little scoundrel, you actually dare to steal my food. Long Shui laughed and started playing with Qin Xiang. Back then, when Qin Xiang had just met her, she was robbed and eaten by Long Shui. When Long Shui thought back to it, she couldn't help but feel sweet in her heart. When Qin Xiang came out of closed-door cultivation, he knew that Feng Wu had come to find him, and that Long Shui had come from behind as well. C. 2352. C. 2352. When Qin Xiang saw that Long Shui had arrived, he knew that the people of 9 Heaven World had moved to the Great Heavenly Star Realm. He had and Huang Yantian help out with this matter. It seemed like things were progressing smoothly. Because Qin Xiang had come out of seclusion, Long Shui immediately followed Feng Wu back to the villa. Long Shui had mainly missed Qin Xiang too much, which was why he had pestered Gulong to bring her here. Little scoundrel, elder sister Menger and the others said that they can refine an array disk that can teleport from the great heavenly star to here. It will take some time for it to be completed, and at that time they will come over to play. Long Shui did not know about the hidden dangers of W.A.N.G. Ancient Heavenly Star. I will go find Sister Qilian, let's go together now. Qin Xiang pinched Long Shui's face. After that, Qin Xiang and Long Shui left the W.A.N.G. Ancient Heavenly Star and headed towards the Great Sky Star. After arriving at the Great Heavenly Star, Qin Xiang followed Long Shui and came to the that was established here. Chen Xiang did not immediately go find LV Qilian, but first went to see Xue Xianxian and the others. Seeing that their strength had greatly increased, he felt more at ease. At this time, they were busy refining the transmission array disc, and Chen Xiang had only touched their small hands, or pinched their faces, before he left. Chen Xiang returned to the courtyard house of the pill refining team and played with the girls for a while before he started discussing a lot of pill refining matters with them. He said on all his gains from these few days to Feng Yujie and even gave him some medicinal ingredients. After walking around the hundreds of flowers village for a bit, Chen Xiang finally went to find LV Qilian. Originally, he had planned to let Su Yuqing out, but since Su Yuqing was currently cultivating, her bones would require her to condense her divine soul as well. Sister Qilian. Chen Xiang entered LV Qilian's secret room and called out sweetly. Humph! Seeing Chen Xiang's expression, LV Qilian spat lightly. I heard your master say that because of some other reason, we can't be allowed to go up. He didn't tell me. He said it would be better for you. LV Qilian said. She was currently in Chen Xiang's embrace. Sigh. This star law divine realm is not very peaceful, and I do not know if you made the wrong decision when you came here. Chen Xiang sighed. If the star law divine realm is not peaceful, then sooner or later, it will spread to the 9 heaven world, and we won't be able to avoid it in the end. LV Qilian said gently. It seems that the problem is very serious. Can you tell me about it? The WANG ancient heavenly star S of the star law divine realm have a Pa-S sageway to the heavenly law underground, and there are very terrifying things beneath the heavenly law underground. They can control natural law principles, and once they control natural law principles, they will become extremely powerful, so we might not even be their match. Chen Xiang said. There are 4 divine races in the star law divine realm. Their mission in the star law divine realm was to strengthen this seal, and now that the entire race of the undead divine race has been exterminated, that means if this seal is loosened, it will be impossible to reinforce, and the things inside will break out from the seal sooner or later. LV Qilian lightly caressed Chen Xiang's face and said with a slight frown, How strong is the thing underneath the seal? Can't the peak divine lord match up to them? Chen Xiang shook his head. Their strength far surpa SSCS peak divine lords, and is even above the heavenly Tao realm. To step into the heavenly Tao realm after Serpa S. Sing peak divine lord would require 2 divine sense CS to cultivate up to 200 GODS level S and 18 bones before they could step into the heavenly Tao realm. LV Qilian took out a jade tablet and sent a message to Feng Yujie. For such an important matter, she also wanted to tell Feng Yujie. Hui Shan took Yulan to the divine dragon race to study. She can't come back for a while. LV Qilian left Chen Xiang's embrace, walked over, and opened the door, allowing Feng Yujie to enter. Feng Yujie was in charge of alchemy in the Hundreds of Flowers village, so he had to let her know about some important things and discuss them with her. When Chen Xiang went to find Feng Yujie, in order to not worry Su Meiyao and the others, he did not tell them about this either. As for Feng Yujie, he did not know either. Cultivating the second divine sense C? How should I train? Feng Yujie asked. Have you finished cultivating? I always felt that you were very powerful. I have cultivated it, but my cultivation method is not suitable for others, Chen Xiang said. But you all do not have to worry, there is still a way. Is that the main thing is to cultivate a set of divine soul, to cultivate that set of divine soul to be as strong as I am, and then to cultivate divine sense C, bones, and divine deity on top of that set of divine soul. This was the method Su Yuqing used to form the second divine sense C. Sister Feng, I have already given you that bone-level fruit. You all need to duplicate more of it. If you use this to refine the 9-bone divine pill, you can quickly condense bones. Chen Xiang said. I know. Feng Yujie chuckled. Little scoundrel, you're pretty obedient to me. After coming to Star Law Divine Realm, you actually didn't pick a fight. Chen Xiang laughed dryly, then pulled Feng Yujie and LV Qilian over, and actually took off their clothes with extremely nimble hands. Feng Yujie and LV Qilian's faces immediately flushed red. They knew what Chen Xiang wanted to do. Little scoundrel, you! I missed you guys so much. Chen Xiang laughed wickedly, then started to get intimate with the two girls. Chen Xiang stayed in Hundreds of Flowers village for a few days, and after Su Yuqing finished his closed-door cultivation, he introduced Su Yuqing to the others, and asked Su Yuqing to share his experiences in training with the second divine sense C. At this time, Yue also came out of the ring, looking for Shui Bingyan to play. She decided to stay in Hundreds of Flowers village for a period of time, and not follow Chen Xiang for the time being. After Chen Xiang left the Hundreds of Flowers village, he headed towards the Nine Heaven School. He understood that the Nine Heaven School was currently managed by Gu Dongchen. Jiao Songhai had hidden himself and was only an elder, but he had also followed along. The main reason was because he did not want to stay in the Nine Heaven world alone, and the Nine Heaven world was currently developing very smoothly. Chen Xiang also saw many of his good friends from back then. After drinking with them for a long time, he went to find Jiao Songhai. When he saw Jiao Songhai, he was shocked. He never thought that Jiao Songhai would have grown so much older. Although he was only middle-aged, his hair had become a lot whiter. I'm almost there too. But now that I can see that the world I have created has become so powerful, I can die without regret. Jiao Songhai sighed. Big brother Songhai, this is a divine longevity pill that I refined. It can extend one's lifespan. Chen Xiang took out a few of these life longevity pellets and gave them to Jiao Songhai. He had already given the Tianyu God melon to Feng Yujie earlier for Feng Yujie and the others to help him copy more. Is it really useful? Jiao Songhai suddenly became excited, although he was not afraid of death, but if there was any hope of survival, he was very willing. Useful. Chen Xiang nodded and smiled. You'll know once you try. C-2353. C-2353. Jiao Songhai hurriedly swallowed a pill. After the medicinal power melted, he immediately felt that it was just like what Chen Xiang said, it could extend his life. Not long after, Jiao Songhai seemed to have become a lot younger, an energetic middle-aged man. It is indeed useful. Your improvement in the pill Dao is truly swift. Jiao Songhai laughed. His smile was extremely brilliant, and completely different from before. After that, Chen Xiang told Jiao Songhai a lot of things about the Star Law Divine Realm, letting Jiao Songhai know that there was danger here. Of course, if it were to explode, it would not spread to the big sky star so quickly. After Jiao Songhai found out about this, he couldn't help but sigh with emotion. He had initially thought that the peak Divine Lord was the end of the line, but he never thought that there was still someone at the heavenly Tao realm above. He had always felt that there was no limit to one's strength. Chen Xiang also felt the same way, and then he told Jiao Songhai the direction to cultivate the second divine sense C, and told him to teach it to the others in the Nine Heaven School. This everlasting mountain was the knot in his heart. If he did not control the everlasting mountain in his hands, he would be very worried. When Chen Xiang had consumed the 9-bone divine pellet that the 500-bone level fruit had refined earlier, he had already cultivated up to the 9th bones, and the second divine sense C had also appeared. He was extremely familiar with the Taiji Yin and Yang map, and what was a little different from before was that there were originally 5 beast statue, but now there were 6. There was an extra qilin floating in the air. My second divine sense C's cultivation is not to condense divine deity, but to help the 6 heavenly beasts condense their bones. When Chen Xiang saw his familiar second divine sense C, he could distinctly feel it. If it was someone else's second divine sense C, they would need to cultivate 100 GODS level, but Chen Xiang needed to give each beast statue 10 bones. At that time, he would be able to step into the heavenly Tao and condense his Tao body. After Chen Xiang returned to the Tsang Cloud City's villa, Wu Ji came in a hurry to find him. "Leader, something bad happened." Wu Ji's expression was solemn, and said anxiously, "Undead divine race is here. Undead divine race is here." Chen Xiang understood immediately, and at the same time was a little happy. Wu Ji had previously said that their Star Law Divine Realm was only a branch power organization and that they had one in other places, and one that was even more powerful. Yuer's grandmother had now successfully contacted the largest clan in Undead Divine Race, which was why Wu Ji said that the Undead Divine Race had come. "What? Isn't this a good thing?" Chen Xiang asked doubtfully. "It's not a good thing," Wu Ji said as his brows furrowed. "After this undead divine race came, he did not immediately look for us, but went to occupy other heavenly stars. Or did he use an extremely brutal method to directly attack a heavenly star and dominate it? When did this happen?" Chen Xiang was also very surprised. He thought about it carefully and felt that it was nothing much. However, this is also very normal. After all, undead divine race was killed by those heavenly star great leaders. No, it would be one thing if they only wanted to kill those powerhouses. However, they killed indiscriminately and indiscriminately. Moreover, they did not completely exterminate those powers. Instead, they controlled those powers and admitted that they possess extremely powerful strength. Wu Ji said. Hearing that, Chen Xiang also felt that something was amiss. The undead divine race that just came here seemed to be different from the one he knew. "Elder Wu, then what do you think?" Wu Ji asked. Wu Ji had many clones, so he could quickly find out what was happening in the heavenly stars. Even though they are also undead divine race, they are not on the same route as us. I have already told the Patriarch to be more careful when she comes into contact with this group of fellows. Wu Ji said. "We, the 4 divine races who have been stationed in the Star Law Divine Realm for a long time, have already separated from the main clan." "Elder Wu, you mean the entire race is getting worse?" Chen Xiang frowned. "It's possible. According to their current style of doing things, they can only be described as cruel. Our undead divine race should not be like this." Wu Ji's face became serious. "It seems that Star Law Divine Realm is getting more and more restless. Go and invite Elder Dai, my master and senior uncle. It's time for us to take Everlasting Mountain down." Chen Xiang said. "This Everlasting Mountain must be under our control. If this undead divine race, which comes from the main clan, is filled with ill intent, and is under their control, it will lead to disaster." Now that Chen Xiang had seen his own second divine sense see, his strength was already very terrifying. After going beyond the realm of peak divine lord, he felt that it shouldn't be a problem to deal with the fellows from the Everlasting Mountain s. Dai Donggong, Huang Jintian and the others arrived quickly. "It's time to make a move." Huang Jintian laughed, but after hearing what Wu Ji said, he could not laugh anymore. Undead divine race from the main clan had finally arrived, but it was not as they had imagined. "Our undead divine race has never been like that. They really killed innocent people on a heavenly star." Huang Jintian frowned. He took out the Tianyan God record and started searching for something on it. "Yes, they killed a lot of people. They destroyed 2 stellar corridors, and countless others died as well." Wu Ji said. "What are you looking for? Is it recorded in the divine records?" Huang Jintian did not answer, but started flipping through it seriously. After a while, he let out a long sigh. "Why are you so sure about what was written on the record?" Huang Yentian hurriedly asked. "The entire clan is in some natural law divine realm or other. Back then they had a sealed pass sage to H.E.L. on the Tao of the Heavens." Huang Jintian said. "If they truly had thoughts of strengthening us, they would have made their move long ago, but they only watched as our clan was exterminated right in front of their eyes. Wu Ji trembled as he shook his head. He could not believe that it was true. Master, you mean to say that the undead divine race above the natural law divine realm also wants to disrupt the order of the entire heavenly Tao? Chen Xiang was also very surprised. It should be, as for why I do not know, there must be a reason behind them colluding with the evil spirit race, but no matter what reason they have, I will not let them go, even if they are our ancestors. Huang Jintian's voice trembled as she endured her rage. Her Star Law Divine Realms clan was exterminated, and this was a blood feud. The undead divine race that came over to the main race had originally been Chen Xiang's hope, but now they were extremely disappointed. Not only would they not help to resolve the crisis in the Star Law Divine Realm, they were even opposing them. Right now, no matter what, we must protect the Everlasting Mountain. As long as the seal below the Everlasting Mountain is not broken, we can gain more time. Wu Ji said, Leader, when do we start? All of you, go gather the disciples. We'll make our move tomorrow morning. Chen Xiang said. He and the few elders had already made their preparations. C-2354. C-2354 Wu Ji also spread the news of this matter to the upper star realms, letting the four divine races above understand the situation. Since the undead divine race's main race was above the natural law divine realm, then perhaps the other three great God clans might also be above the. If they were all going to disrupt the order of the heavens, then the other three great God clans would have to make their own decisions. Now Wu Ji had already made a decision to go against the entire clan, because they, the undead divine race, had sacrificed too much. The other three God clans did not sacrifice anything, but they could not force themselves to hide, so their resentment was not that great. At that time, they might just follow the main race above natural law divine realm. Therefore, Wu Ji had also told Chen Xiang to be wary of the other three God clans. Deep into the night, the entire Tsang Cloud City was extremely quiet. Chen Xiang and the others had already gathered all of the disciples, and with the help of a large number of bone-level Dan, the strength of all the disciples had increased by a lot. Tomorrow, you will be led by the Elder Dai. We will listen to the orders of the Elder Dai to attack, and we will be in charge of killing our way up to the Everlasting Mountain. Wu Ji said. As he had many clones, he had already infiltrated into the Everlasting Mountain seriously. There isn't much power laid down on top of the Everlasting Mountain, only the original Dan Dynasty Tut and the Elder's Courtyard. There is already an Elder of the Purple Yuan sect, and most of the Purple Yuan sect's power is hidden underneath the Everlasting Mountain. I have already told the Elder Dai of their location. Wu Ji said. Everyone, when the time comes, you must be careful. The more people we send, the more of them will live. Chen Xiang said. I believe that for the past few days, everyone has been working hard to improve themselves. Although we don't have many people here, all of us are elites, able to take charge of Chen Xiang. Although we have a lot of enemies, they are all shrimp soldiers and crab generals. We do not need to fear them. Chen Xiang said. These disciples often fought with the special God beast, and at this time, they were not afraid at all. On the contrary, they were excited, they had been here for so long. Before the sky brightened, Chen Xiang had already used his formidable spatial energy to teleport everyone to the area below Everlasting Mountain. Huang Jintian, Ting Yong and Jing Zhe each led their own small teams, stealthily approaching the area of influence of Everlasting Mountain. Chen Xiang did not tell Su Dazhong. Previously, Su Dazhong had also said that if he were to make a move against Everlasting Mountain, there was no need to notify him. The two powerful elders of the Purple Yuan sect that were stationed there were also strong opponents for Su Dazhong. Elder Wu, let's go. Originally, Dai Donggong also wanted to go up there, but there was an elder from the Purple Yuan sect below who needed Dai Donggong's strength to suppress them. and now that Chen Xiang had 18 bones and 100 GODS level, in addition to the second divine sense C, he felt that he would have no problem fighting the entire Everlasting Mountain on his own. If it wasn't for the fact that there was a seal underneath Everlasting Mountain, they wouldn't need to be so careful. Chen Xiang was able to handle it alone, and the reason why they were doing that was because they wanted to quickly kill all the peak divine lords that were a threat to their safety. Chen Xiang and Wu Ji teleported all the way to the summit of Everlasting Mountain, where there were many buildings. Chen Xiang had come here once before, but was still not very familiar with the place, but Wu Ji had his clone inside there, and was very familiar with it. "Leader, my clone has already left the Everlasting Mountain. You can attack in a while," Wu Ji whispered to Chen Xiang. Chen Xiang's first target was the elder of the Purple Yuan sect. This elder was also the strongest on the mountain top. He did not need Wu Ji's guidance to be able to sense this elder's aura. "I'll be going over first. Go and ASSA. Sinate the other peak divine lords. It would be best if there isn't any commotion." After Chen Xiang finished speaking, he teleported and disappeared. The elder from Purple Yuan sect was currently cultivating in the secret room. Chen Xiang's spatial energy was becoming stronger and stronger, and his penetrating power was extremely strong. Even with the protection of the secret room, he was able to easily penetrate it. After Chen Xiang entered, the clan elder immediately noticed him and opened his eyes wide. His eyes flashed, and he suddenly disappeared. "What?" Chen Xiang was startled. He immediately released the Dao Heart Eye, and very quickly he saw a red figure flash past him. He did not expect the elder to actually know how to use the counterpower and hide his own body. What's wrong with this fellow? He actually knows how to use this kind of power. Chen Xiang could see his opponent using the Dao Heart Eye, so when the elder chopped at him, Chen Xiang immediately used the counterpower to make himself more transparent. "Who exactly are you? Why did you kill me? Could it be that you've reneged on your promise?" The elder asked hurriedly when he saw the other party use the same amount of power as him. "You Partic 1P aided in the killing of the undead divine race. This is the reason." Chen Xiang flashed. The heavenly magic sword appeared in his hands and slashed at the elder. Chen Xiang's speed was very fast, and the elder could not see him either. This secret room was also very narrow, so it was impossible for him to dodge. Chen Xiang never thought that the elder's reaction would be so good, to actually be able to dodge his fatal strike. It was only the loss of an arm, but the following strike accurately pierced into his opponent's throat. "Just who are you?" The Purple Yuan sect elder appeared to be round. His throat was filled with blood, and when Chen Xiang thrusted the sword, a wave of meteor immortal power was injected into the sword, causing the opponent's bones to shatter. The opponent's body and divine sense C both suffered heavy injuries. "You don't need to know. You only need to know that I'm here to avenge the undead divine race." Chen Xiang slapped his head with his palm, and at the same time that the soul-absorbing devil spell activated, the elder screamed miserably. Chen Xiang was currently searching through the elder's memories, because he knew about the counterpower. I didn't expect that after the mysterious old man died, there would still be other people. From the elder's memories, Chen Xiang realized that there were other evil spirit races, evil spirits moving around. They were also quite active during this period of time, and they began to come into contact with some strong prac. 1 Tioniers. Boom. A thunderous boom came from the outside. C.R.A.P. Chen Xiang felt that something terrible had happened. If this elder knew about counterpower, then the other peak divine lordess of Everlasting Mountain might know too. After hiding, it was not something that Dai Donggong and the others could deal with. Chen Xiang swiftly killed the elder, and after throwing him into the Chuang's Hi+G.O.D. furnace, he immediately teleported out of the secret room. When he arrived outside, he saw blood trickling from the corner of Wu Ji's mouth, and landed on a small plaza. On top of that, there was also an arm, which wasn't Wu Ji's arm, but the arm of an elder of the Danji, Institute. C. 2355. C. 2355. When Chen Xiang came outside, he immediately used the Dao Heart Eye. Seeing that there were 3 red figures jumping towards Wu Ji, he immediately used a teleportation spell to teleport Wu Ji. Wu Ji had heard Chen Xiang talk about the evil spirit race's counterpower. After using this power, it could make himself invisible and others would find it difficult to see. Therefore, he knew very well what kind of danger he was facing. However, he could still use his intuition to cut off an elder's arm. I have to get rid of these guys quickly. I didn't think that they would actually know how to use this kind of power. Chen Xiang moved Wu Ji to the side and transmitted to Wu Ji, then he himself teleported to the side of the elder with his arm cut off. Even though the elder of the Danji Institute had lost an arm, he seemed to not have received any heavy injuries. He still very agilely charged towards Wu Ji. The clan elder saw Chen Xiang, so he immediately changed his direction and rushed towards Chen Xiang. Just as he was about to rush over, Chen Xiang used the counterpower to hide himself. Just as Chen Xiang had expected, the elder saw that he also knew how to use this method, so he was stunned. Just as he was startled, Chen Xiang teleported and cut the elder into 2. Boom! After Chen Xiang killed it, he used Fire Cloud Palm to destroy the corpse. Elder Wu, come down the mountain and help them. Chen Xiang sent a sound transmission to Wu Ji, who immediately left the peak of the mountain and rushed down. If it was before, they would definitely be able to defeat it, but now, these peak Divine Lordess all understood that kind of counterpower, it would definitely be very taxing for Dai Donggong and the others right now. There were also 2 peak Divine Lordess here. When they saw Wu Ji rush ing down the mountain and wanted to chase after him, Chen Xiang hastily appeared and attacked the 2 peak Divine Lordess. After dispersing their attention, Wu Ji had already disappeared. Jumping down from the everlasting mountain, that peak Divine Lord wielded a divine weapon and attacked Chen Xiang. Spatial imprisonment. Chen Xiang used a strong power of SP-AC to seal the 2 clan elders' SP-AC, causing them to only be able to move around in a small SP-AC, causing the 2 clan elders who were charging over to suddenly crash into a wall made of spatial energy, making them unable to move forward. Chen Xiang immediately went over, with his sword SLAs. ing across, he sliced off 2 heads. You guys have the same level of ability. Chen Xiang burned their bodies inside his chuangs. God furnace. The disciples here saw how a few of the strongest elders had been killed, all of them possessing the strength of peak Divine Lord, but they were easily dealt with as easily as if they were chickens. They were definitely unable to deal with them, so they all flew away from the everlasting mountain, afraid that they would be killed. After Chen Xiang finished off the few elders up there, he immediately went down the mountain. When he arrived downstairs, Chen Xiang saw that his disciples had already started fighting with Purple Yuan sect and the others. Huang Jintian, Dai Donggong and the others were all injured, and it was all because they could not see their enemies, and were plotted against. Chen Xiang had 9 more bones than these peak Divine Lordess, so he was many times stronger than them. Adding his terrifying heavenly magic sword, if these peak Divine Lord got near to him, they would most likely not be able to survive. When Chen Xiang came down, he used the counterpower to make himself invisible, so the enemies would not be able to see him. There are 3 of them. It seems like they are hiding quite a bit of power. Chen Xiang used the Dao Heart Eye to lock onto one of them. At the same time he teleported, he waved his heavenly magic sword and the moment he appeared, he could immediately slash down. Pft! A strong sword whistle sounded, and an elder was hacked into 2 by Chen Xiang. A terrifying flame poured into his body, and after it was hacked into 2, it ignited and burned into ashes by the chuangs. HI plus GOD furnaces fire. When the other two clan elders saw this, they were shocked. The elder who was killed just now was suddenly attacked, and the person who attacked them did not appear, meaning that person understood counterpower and wanted them to become invisible. Chen Xiang took advantage of the two elders hovering in the air to teleport over. After SLA's HI plus ing down with his sword, he teleported to the side of another elder. Just as he was about to fly away, he suddenly stopped moving. The SPAC around him had already been sealed by Chen Xiang. Chen Xiang recognized that this was the elder of Purple Yuan sect, and ruthlessly swung his sword, bringing along a roar of flames. When the sword slashed down, it was like a huge fan, enveloping the elder and pressing him down, burning him to ashes. 3 of the Peak Divine Lord S had died so quickly, but upon seeing this scene, all of the disciples were dumbstruck. To them, the Peak Divine Lord S were already out of their reach, but now that they had died so quickly, the people who killed them would definitely be even more terrifying. I'll leave this place to you. Chen Xiang threw down these words and anxiously teleported away. Just now, he saw a red dot in the distance. That was clearly the power of the evil spirit race. Earlier, when he searched the elders' memories and found out that the evil spirit race had taught them the counterpower, he allowed them to learn the art of invisibility. As for the red dot that he saw earlier on, it was very likely to be the evil spirit that had said the counterpower down to these elders. The other party seemed to be able to sense his presence, which was why he was running so fast. This guy's strength is not weak at all. However, why did he run away? Could it be that he deliberately lured me here? I must be careful. Chen Xiang started to be alert. At the moment, he was also invisible. The other party would definitely not be able to see him. However, since the other party was from the evil spirit race, he would definitely be able to sense that he was nearby. He really did draw me here on purpose. This was because Chen Xiang was about to get close to it a few times, but the evil spirit suddenly teleported in front of him. From this, it could be seen that this evil spirit could also control an extremely strong spatial energy, which made Chen Xiang even more vigilant. Unknowingly, Chen Xiang had caught up with the evil spirit and arrived above a lake. Not long after he entered the lake water below started to churn, and white gases started to rise from the lake. Chen Xiang was immediately covered by the white mist. There's something wrong with this lake. After Chen Xiang realized it, all he saw was a burst of white light that shone, and then the mist around him disappeared. At this moment, he was in a white SPAC. There really is a trick. Chen Xiang was extremely confident in his own strength, so he wasn't afraid of being trapped in this place. A man in black appeared in front of him. He only revealed his eyes, but it was clear from his eyes that he was a very energetic person. His eyes were sharp and cold, carrying a trace of hostility. Who exactly are you? Our divine power wasn't said down to a human like you, but you know how to use it. The man in black asked coldly. Chen Xiang did not waste time talking to him. This was his enemy and he was extremely strong, so when he tried to teleport, he was met with a slash, but the opponent managed to dodge it. This black costume evil spirit's ability to use spatial energy was also very profound, and he was very strong. C-2356. C-2356. After Chen Xiang's one strike failed, he confirmed the position of the black costume evil spirits and immediately attacked again with the second strike. However, this time, he was still dodged. The opponent didn't counterattack and just kept on dodging. With your current strength, it's still not enough to kill me. Don't waste your strength. Although you can use the power of SPAC, you only know a little bit of it. It's only touching upon the SPAC laws. The black costume evil spirits said, and me, who have cultivated within the spatial laws, you are too far away from me. Chen Xiang was secretly shocked in his heart, but he did not reveal it as he sneered. Then why did you run? Are you willing to watch those guys get killed by me? Black Costume Evil Spirit said, I just want to talk to you alone. As for those dogs, they are nothing in my eyes. You, on the other hand, are much more important than them. Since you are able to grasp our strength without a teacher, I can let you join us and become one of us. Just listen to my commands in the future. Chen Xiang finally understood that the Black Costume Evil Spirits had set his eyes on him and wanted to rope him in. This made him laugh in his heart. He would never join a power like the evil spirit race that wanted to destroy the heavens. What is it? Aren't you going to join us? As long as our plan succeeds, you will be able to gain even more power. The Black Costume Evil Spirits said. So what if I'm strong? Isn't it because I'm under your control? What's more, all of your actions are the ones that I hate the most. Don't think that I don't know your plans. What I need to do now is to destroy them. Chen Xiang said coldly. The plan of the evil spirit race was to control the laws of the entire heavenly Tao and allow the countless creatures born from the heavenly Tao to become their energy, allowing them to obtain even more powerful strength. Chen Xiang would never do such a thing. Very strange, who exactly are you? Natural Law Divine Spirit is already dead, and all of his comrades were killed by us, so there can't be anyone who would end up here. And you don't seem to be his accomplice. You don't know much. Black Costume Evil Spirit said, even though you aren't willing to join us, I still have high hopes for you. Thus, no matter what, I must subdue you today and force you to become my slave. Chen Xiang laughed coldly. Then you still need to have the ability to do that? You really think I'm that weak? Many guys like you have died at my hands before. They all have one common trait, being conceited. Black Costume Evil Spirits laughed. In my eyes, you are also a very conceited human. Be my slave, I will not treat you unfairly. With that, the Black Costume Evil Spirits suddenly disappeared. Chen Xiang used the Tao Heart Eye, but was not able to catch him. At the same time, he teleported to avoid being attacked by the opponent. In the blink of an eye, a force suddenly hit his body as if it wanted to tear him apart. In that instant, he fell out of the spatial passageway. He actually suffered an attack after teleporting. A surge of power entered the teleportation channel. He opened and quickly attacked him. This all happened in a very short period of time. I've already said that you're still too weak. If you join us and become my slave, I can guarantee that you'll quickly become stronger, even Serpa's sing me, especially when it comes to using spatial energy. The Black Costume Evil Spirit said. Dream on. Chen Xiang had already sensed that since he was within the Black Costume Evil Spirits, the opponent's spatial energy was indeed stronger than his, so he was indeed inferior to the Black Costume Evil Spirits in terms of spatial usage. But this was all because when he was cultivating Divine Deity, most of his Divine Deity were life-killing Divine Deity, so he had less spatial Divine Deity. He felt that if he had more than 100 spatial Divine Deity, he definitely would not be weaker than his opponent. After thinking about it, Chen Xiang knew that he did not have much spatial Divine Deity, so if he were to compete with the power of SPACE, he would definitely not be able to defeat the other party. It was also because the usage of Chen Xiang's spatial energy was not as good as his. That was why he came to the conclusion that Chen Xiang was much weaker than him. Furthermore, Chen Xiang was a human, and he had once cultivated the spatial laws before, so he believed that it was impossible for Chen Xiang to defeat him. I'll give you one more chance. I don't want to waste any more time with you right now. If you obediently agree to be my slave, I can guarantee that you will have a very comfortable life in the future. Otherwise, I'll kill you here. The Black Costume Evil Spirit said. Slave your ass. For a guy like you, even if you were my slave, I would still look down on you. Chen Xiang shouted as he took out the 6 realms mirrors. Then go to Hell. The black costume evil spirits suddenly disappeared. He used the counter-power to conceal himself, and at the same time, used his own powerful spatial energy to teleport. Chen Xiang also immediately urged his 6 realms mirrors, allowing it to release a soul-sealing killing array. The moment black costume evil spirits appeared by Chen Xiang's side, he suddenly shouted loudly, and the soul-sealing killing formation that Chen Xiang released from the 6 realms mirrors activated. This soul-sealing killing array could suddenly burst forth with a very strong power. It could seal an enemy's soul for an instant, and at that moment, it would also wildly attack the enemy's soul. However, it would only do so for an instant. To Chen Xiang, an instant was more than enough for him to defeat his opponent. Right at this moment, Chen Xiang's heavenly magic sword's aura was raging, and all the divine deity in his body was trembling. Waves after waves of berserk divine power gushed out of him, salting the heavenly magic sword. Kill! Chen Xiang bellowed, and at the same time, the heavenly magic sword pierced towards the center of the other party's brows. His eyes shot out 2 rays of golden light using his bones. The meteor immortal power entered the divine sense see through the specificity of his eyes through the bones, and saw the black-colored divine sense see as though he had been struck by 2 gigantic meteors. Chen Xiang pulled out the heavenly magic sword and anxiously retreated. The black costume evil spirits held his head and screamed continuously, his entire body releasing red mist. At the same time, he cursed Chen Xiang. "I will tear you apart." Black costume evil spirits suddenly turned into a red mist. Her appearance was extremely sinister, as she roared and rushed towards Chen Xiang. "Come in!" Chen Xiang immediately summoned his chuangs. Hi+God furnace, making the opening of the chuangs. Hi+God furnace big, allowing the black costume evil spirits to enter inside. At this time, the white SPAC around him had also disappeared, and the moment Chen Xiang appeared in the lake, black costume evil spirits did not die. He was trapped by Chen Xiang inside the chuangs. Hi+God furnace. You sure are lucky, falling into the hands of a pill God like me. So don't worry, your spatial force won't disappear just like that after you die, so I'll accept it. Chen Xiang laughed mischievously, then he hid in a cave and used the heavenly alchemy to separate his terrifying spatial energy from the black costume evil spirits' body. C-2357. C-2357 Chen Xiang was not worried about Dai Donggong and the others now. All the threats at the Everlasting Mountain were dealt with by him. He had also asked Wu Ji about it using his communication jade symbol paper, and now they were tidying the battlefield, taking down Everlasting Mountain completely. He did not go back immediately. He could not wait to refine the power of SPAC inside black costume evil spirits' body. Up until now, he had never come across a power that was more powerful than his, but that black costume evil spirits from just a moment ago was so much stronger than his. That was why he wished very much that he could wield such a strong power. Inside the chuangs, Hi+God furnace, the black costume evil spirits felt Chen Xiang's flames and, at the same time, secretly thought about what exactly is this thing that could actually trap him within, and even release such a strong flame, as if it wanted to burn him into ashes. Right now, Chen Xiang was unwilling to burn him to ashes in one breath. There was a technique inside the heavenly alchemy that could separate one's powers, and now Chen Xiang was going to use this technique to burn black costume evil spirit. Bastard, what are you doing? Why do I feel as if the power of SPAC within my body is being separated? The black costume evil spirit screamed. You're not dead yet. Chen Xiang laughed. I just want to be on the same level as you, so I'm going to refine your power of SPAC into a pellet and eat it. Stop right now. If you do this, you will die a horrible death. Black costume evil spirits shouted in anger. You will die a horrible death. You all are ruining the heavens, so now you all are going to die a horrible death, haha. Chen Xiang laughed and increased the intensity of the fire, causing the black costume evil spirits to be unable to speak and be unable to stop screaming. Black costume evil spirits had to shout for more than 4 hours before he stopped. At this point, he had also been refined by Chen Xiang. Chen Xiang separated out 2 powerful forces from his body. One was the counterpower, the other was the power of SPAC. These 2 powers were very powerful, especially the power of SPAC. I wonder what will happen after I obtain these 2 powers. Chen Xiang continued to condense the 2 separate energies. If he refined them into pills, the quality would improve by a lot. Chen Xiang could also absorb it now, but he would not do that. He would lose a lot of energy. It took him 2 full days to refine these 2 energies into 2 pellets. He first swallowed a pellet that was refined from counterpower, and then quickly fused it into his own body. At this time, his counterpower had increased even more. It was very likely that black costume evil spirits' previous ability of discovering invisibility was due to the fact that the counterpower on his body was very strong, allowing him to sense where the other invisibility evil spirits were. Therefore, Chen Xiang felt that even if he did not use the Dao Heart Eye in the future, he would still be able to sense the invisible evil spirits. After that, he swallowed that spatial power refined into a pill. After eating it, the spatial power dispersed into his first divine sense C, entering his spatial divine deity. Chen Xiang's second divine sense C did not cultivate spatial divine deity, so he channeled this power into the first divine sense C. Although there weren't many spatial divine deity in the first divine sense C, they were able to absorb the vast amount of spatial energy, causing the quality of the spatial divine deity inside to rise by a lot. My power of SPAC has increased by a lot. If I use my domain of spatial sensing, I can cover a very wide area. Chen Xiang closed his eyes and the everlasting mountain appeared in his mind. In addition, when he used spatial travel, he would be able to travel even further. He felt that if he wanted to teleport to the great heavenly star, he would be able to do so very quickly, unlike the previous times where he needed to teleport multiple times. To Chen Xiang, this was a huge improvement because in order to cultivate and replicate the divine medicine, he had forgotten about the spatial divine deity and it was hard to find any leeway to increase it. However, right now it was because of the black costume evil spirits that his spatial energy had increased by a lot. Leader, come back quickly. We're in danger. Wu Ji suddenly sent a message to Chen Xiang, who took out his communication jade symbol paper and immediately teleported to the top of the everlasting mountain after receiving the news. When he arrived, he saw that at the top of everlasting mountain, other than Wu Ji and the rest, there was another group of people. This group of people were all young, and the one leading them had an extremely arrogant expression. There was even a disciple stepping on his feet. Chen Xiang knows this disciple, but he belongs to their villa. At the side, Dai Donggong, Huang Jintian and the others had turned pale. It could be seen that they had sustained internal injuries, and all of them had been beaten up by the group of people in front of them. Chen Xiang used a spatial teleportation technique to send the disciple whose head had been stepped on away. His face also became ice-cold and gloomy. "Who are you?" Chen Xiang asked coldly. The young man who was leading the group saw the person he was stepping on being taken away. He was slightly surprised but also secretly angry. He saw this as a form of provocation. This everlasting mountain is ours, although you all worked hard, you all better get lost. We don't want to waste our energy on you. Although he was handsome, he lacked a manly air. However, his words were extremely arrogant, causing people to be a bit afraid of him. Leader, they are from undead divine race. That is the main clan from the heavenly Tao. They are going to occupy this everlasting mountain. Wu Ji sent a sound transmission to Chen Xiang. They injured us the moment they appeared. Their strength is extremely terrifying. Chen Xiang never thought that these undead divine race would arrive so quickly, but he was not afraid. The ones who should scram are you guys. However, I will not let you all happily scram. You injured one of our people, and you even stepped on my disciple's head. Chen Xiang said. The disciple who was kicked on the head suffered an enormous humiliation. As a leader, the fact that Chen Xiang's disciple had been humiliated like this was equivalent to humiliating him. Am I hearing things? Such a fellow can actually say such arrogant words. The man looked surprised and looked at the group of people behind him. The people behind him roared with laughter. Young master, you should be able to defeat him in 10 moves, right? 10 moves. Even 1 move is too much. Young master can kill this idiot with 1 finger. Young master, quickly get rid of him. If you think that he is not worthy for you to attack, then let us handle it. We guarantee that we will not let him die an easy death. Chen Xiang laughed. Why are you dogs barking so happily? It can't be that your young master's yells are so nice, that your young master would give you feces, right? Young lord, quickly destroy him. Quick, kill him. He actually insulted us. That young master's expression had also become gloomy and cold. Chen Xiang repeatedly provoked him, causing him to be extremely furious. No one had ever dared to act so arrogantly in front of him before. C-2358. C-2358. Other than the young lord, who was more powerful, the rest were nothing in his eyes. Do you know where I come from? You arrogant and weak humans, don't think that just because we have the appearance of humans that we are as weak as you. The young lord walked forward and said in a cold voice, I'm too lazy to take action now. Kneel down and beg for mercy. Kneel down and beg for mercy? After Chen Xiang heard this, he could not help but burst out laughing wildly. Why did you come to SNATCH this place, yet make us kneel and beg for forgiveness, and the ones who should kneel and beg for forgiveness are you guys? I am in a good mood now. Maybe I can let you guys go once, and let you guys easily scram back. Since you want to die so much, I'll grant your Wisconsin H. Plus, the young master suddenly flashed, and with an extremely fast speed, he rushed towards Chen Xiang. From afar, he looked like a bolt of lightning, striking right at Chen Xiang. Chen Xiang had just increased the power of S.P.A.C., so no matter how fast the other party was, it would still not be as fast as his heart. When he saw his opponent attack, he had a thought and disappeared. Although the young master was like a bolt of lightning, he missed. Chen Xiang shouted, suddenly appearing beside the young master. His arm slashed down like a blade, bringing along the meteor immortal power, and furthermore releasing a dragon roar. It was extremely terrifying. The young master felt that Chen Xiang's sudden burst of power was extremely terrifying, and at the same time, he was overwhelmed with shock in his heart. He wanted to quickly dodge, but Chen Xiang's speed was simply too fast. Just as he reacted, his shoulders sank, and was ruthlessly struck by Chen Xiang's blade. Gotcha! The young master, who was extremely arrogant just a moment ago, had his arm chopped off by Chen Xiang with his bare hands. It should be said that it was torn apart by the powerful strength of Chen Xiang's attack. The young lord cried out miserably. Pow! Chen Xiang fiercely slapped him across the face, with a loud boom sound. After the handsome face was tilted to the side, Chen Xiang then quickly sent a backhand slap towards it. The left and right faces of the face were instantly slapped dozens of times by Chen Xiang, and from the terrible look of his face, it could not even be seen that it was a human face. You dare to be arrogant, and you even trample on my people. Chen Xiang put down the young master, stepped on the young master's face and sneered. I thought you were very strong, but you're just an ant, go die. The impact of meteor immortal power on Chen Xiang's leg was accompanied by an intense flame. Everyone could see that when Chen Xiang stepped on the young master's face, his thigh suddenly released a burst of flame. Roar! Flames surged out along with the meteor immortal power, releasing a burst of fierce whistling sound, and a huge sea of flames sprayed out. Boom! At the same time, the fire burned loudly, enveloping the young master's body. The meteor immortal power tore his body into pieces, and the fierce flames burned the shattered pieces to ashes. Young lord! A young man shouted in fear. Although the group of young men were furious, they didn't dare to charge over. Even their young lord was killed by the enemy, not to mention them. You want to leave? Chen Xiang flipped his body and used spatial imprisonment, locking all the youths in place. Then, he used spatial slashes to cut all the SPAC around them into pieces, causing their bodies to shatter as well. You bunch of dog slaves, since you're loyal to your young lord, I'll have you accompany him. Chen Xiang teleported into the air, and released a fire cloud palm that pressed down like a mountain. It set off a wave of fire and it enveloped the group of young men, turning them into ashes before they could even let out a scream. With Chen Xiang's current strength, even Wu Ji and the others felt fear. They never thought that Chen Xiang was actually this terrifying, that the young master was an existence that Serpa said the peak divine lord in their eyes, yet he was ruthlessly stomped by Chen Xiang, which meant that Chen Xiang's strength was even stronger than that young master. Chen Xiang's face turned solemn and said, "Looks like they have already come, and indeed they have changed. They are completely different from undead divine race like Elder Wu." Wu Ji sighed. I wonder what exactly happened. They actually wanted to destroy that seal. Now, everyone, please heal yourselves. Open the great formation of the everlasting mountain. Chen Xiang said, the undead divine race above natural law divine realm was here, and they were very strong as a whole. The young master he had just killed definitely had an extremely high status, so the undead divine race would definitely send someone stronger next. Next, we will have to defend the everlasting mountain to the death. They will definitely send even more powerful people over. Chen Xiang said, Elder Wu, how are your injuries? Nothing serious. Wu Ji said. Then go to the great heavenly star, go to Hundreds of Flowers village, and have Su Yuqing come here. If he can contact the dragon Kylan of the great heavenly star, see if he comes. Chen Xiang said. I'll go now. Wu Ji nodded. He had also heard from Chen Xiang about the dragon Kylan, so he quickly rushed to the great heavenly star. Amongst the big stars, there weren't many people who could help, only Su Yuqing, the cursed demoness who had broken through to Peak Divine Lord, and the dragon Kylan, Ren Xen. Although there were a lot of Peak Divine Lord above, they were still too weak to help. When Chen Xiang killed that group of men earlier, he took away a few of their divine souls. These divine souls all had memories inside them. He was using the soul-absorbing devil spell to search for memories right now. He wanted to understand more about the natural law divine realm. He wanted to understand why the undead divine race above had turned into this. That young master must have known a lot of things, but Chen Xiang didn't hold back when she killed him just now, so both the soul and body of the divine sense were instantly destroyed. Through the memories that Chen Xiang had found in the divine soul, he found out about some things which had really surprised him. Above natural law divine realm was also the undead divine race. Other than the undead divine race, there were also many other races, including humans. Basically, all of them were naturally born creatures, and all of them were the most powerful existences within the natural law divine realm. It was just that no one knew what was happening on top of natural law divine realm. There were only 3 races left, and one of them was the undead divine race, followed by the human race and the red spirit race. The so-called red spirit race were evil spirit race who mainly relied on sucking in blood to survive. The humans above the natural law divine realm were not very strong, they were only of medium strength, but the undead divine race and the red spirit race were both very strong. Especially the red spirit race. Originally, they were even more powerful because they possessed the power to restrain the other God tribes. That was why they were punished by the natural law divine spirit. Because the natural law divine spirit was a human, the heavenly law holy land that the human race resided in had a powerful force protecting it. Therefore, after the other races mysteriously disappeared, the human race could still exist. The undead divine race and the red spirit race had joined forces. They wanted to go against the laws of the heavenly path and let the world revolving with their natural law principles be controlled in their hands. All these years, because the undead divine race and the red spirit race had been very close, the undead divine race had already been corroded by the evil spirit and the undead divine race had changed. C. 2359. C. 2359. After Chen Xiang found out about these things, he also found a way to defend himself. Right now, only the undead divine race was here, and the evil spirit race was still above the natural law divine realm, dealing with human beings. Looks like the natural law divine realm is the birthplace of all the living creatures. There are all sorts of races and their strengths are all extremely powerful. That young master, who is only the son of the leader of a small tribe in the undead divine race, is already so powerful. What Chen Xiang was curious about was why did the other races suddenly disappear? Undead divine race also did not know about this, and evil spirit race did not seem to be aware of it either. But the humans protected by the heavenly Tao Holy Land were still here. There had to be a reason. Only 3 batches came to the undead divine race. One of them occupied a heavenly star, the other one was killed by me while the rest were preparing to kill a heavenly star, but they should all know by now that the batch that came to this place was destroyed, and they will be here very soon. Chen Xiang was not too worried. If Su Yuqing came, with Su Youqing's help, he would be able to relax. If only the dragon Kylan could come. Right now, the everlasting mountain seal was very weak, it could easily be broken if damaged, so Chen Xiang had to stay here. Even if he could not reinforce the seal, he could not let the seal be destroyed so quickly. He had to delay it for a while, so that they could refine spirit pill which could quickly increase their strength. As long as they had more heavenly Tao realm experts, they would not have to worry about strong enemies from the natural law divine realm. And Dai Donggong were both injured. It could be seen how strong the people from the natural law divine realm were, that they were the top rankers in the star law divine realm. Su Yuqing and Wu Ji came from the great heavenly star, so Chen Xiang was a little disappointed that he did not see the dragon Kylan. Are the enemies very strong? Su Yuqing also knew a lot of things, so when she saw Chen Xiang, she asked him directly. But you and I can deal with them now, so it might be a little difficult. Yuqing, thank you for your hard work. Chen Xiang smiled at her and stroked her hair. It's fine. I've also improved a lot. It's just right for me to give it a try. Su Yuqing smiled at Chen Xiang. She had been in the Hundreds of Flowers village for a few days already, so she knew quite a bit about Chen Xiang from him and understood him better. After that, Chen Xiang told Wu Ji and Su Yuqing everything he knew about the natural law divine realm. He had already told Dai Donggong and the others about it before. Su Yuqing was using the power of a curse, so her actions were also soundless. Once someone was hit by her curse, the consequences would be severe, and with the 100 GODS level, she would be able to fully cultivate it soon, making her considered strong in the star law divine realm. Of course, it was only because Su Yuqing had cultivated to the second divine sense that she had such strength. Wu Ji had secretly guessed at Su Youqing's strength. He did not expect that the woman by Chen Xiang's side would be so strong, even more terrifying than these elders. He could not see through it. Su Yuqing had only been there for half a day, but a group of people suddenly appeared at the top of Everlasting Mountain. If not for the protection of the great formation, they would have already rushed down. Yuqing, you'd better prepare yourself. Listen to my orders and help me later, Chen Xiang said to Su Yuqing before he instantly teleported into the air, appearing in front of that group of people. Who are you? Chen Xiang already knew the background of the other party, but he still had to pretend to ask. He wanted to see if the other party knew that he was the one who killed the young master. And who are you? Quickly remove the formation, or else we will destroy it, and this mountain will be ours. There were several dozen people on the opposing side, led by a middle-aged man. Behind the middle-aged man was an old man who caused everyone to tremble with fear. One look was all it took to tell that he was very powerful. I am a leader of the everlasting mountain. What right do you have to say that this mountain is yours? Chen Xiang asked indifferently. You talk too much. I don't care if you are the leader here. I only know that I have set my eyes on this mountain and it is mine. I will ask you again, are you going to remove the array? The middle-aged man's voice became very cold and full of threat. No retreat, Chen Xiang replied. The sword suddenly stabbed over, without any warning. It had stabbed into Chen Xiang's throat in the blink of an eye. Chen Xiang had already prepared himself. The moment the other party attacked, he used the cloud sky constellation and turned his throat into a fog. Although the sword pierced through, it was unable to harm him. The other party thought that he had pierced Chen Xiang's throat, but felt that something was amiss. By the time he discovered it, Chen Xiang's heavenly magic sword had already appeared. Chen Xiang's sword was extremely fast, aimed for his opponent's wrist. The middle-aged man did not expect his sword to pierce through the enemy's throat, but it did not cause any damage to the enemy. While he was still in shock, the enemy had already returned the attack. The middle-aged man suddenly shouted. His wrist had been struck by Chen Xiang. When his divine sword and palm fell, Chen Xiang used teleportation techniques and teleported him to the Chuang's Hi+God furnace. The man behind the middle-aged man was also surprised. Their leader's hand had been cut off. Die! The middle-aged man roared as he struck out with his other hand. With a blue chi aura, the whole earth suddenly started to shake violently. When the aura attacked, it created a violent wind. The ground was instantly covered with a thick layer of it. Mud and trees flew everywhere, blowing in all directions. Chen Xiang was secretly shocked. Even after a palm was cut off, the middle-aged man still remained indifferent as he made his move, releasing that blue divine force. He did not know what law power it was, but the power it contained caused Chen Xiang to be shocked. Although it looked like a violent force of astral wind, it was actually a sharp thorn condensed from divine power. It was extremely terrifying. After Chen Xiang teleported away, he felt a lingering fear in his heart. He felt that if he was pierced, he would definitely be severely injured. It was a sharp thorn condensed with a very powerful God's power. However, the speed of the thrust was still a bit slow. The other party did not know that he had grasped such a powerful spatial force. If it was the past, Chen Xiang would definitely not have used teleportation, but it was different now. After he absorbed the black costume evil spirits' spatial energy, even in the face of this extremely unstable SPAC, he was still able to teleport smoothly. Yuqing, deal with that old man, Chen Xiang suddenly said to Su Yuqing. He could already feel that the old man behind the middle-aged man was condensing a very terrifying power. Su Yuqing was already prepared. Upon hearing Chen Xiang's sound transmission, she immediately used her curse power. Chen Xiang once again teleported to the side of the middle-aged man. A lightning strike struck, and the middle-aged man's arm flashed with a blue light. C-2360. C-2360. Chen Xiang never thought it would be like this. The middle-aged man had lost a palm just now, so he should be aware of the heavenly magic sword's strength, but he had actually used his arm to hit him. After the blue light from the heavenly magic sword struck the middle-aged man's arm, Chen Xiang felt that his own heavenly magic sword seemed to be about to distort, as it was melted by an extremely strange and somewhat soft power. This is bad. Chen Xiang anxiously pulled out the heavenly magic sword, but it was unexpectedly difficult to pull it out, as it was attracted by a strong suction force. Spatial isolation. Chen Xiang placed his spatial energy over the heavenly magic sword, allowing it to separate itself from the heavenly magic sword. Only then did he manage to get it out. The heavenly magic sword had already bent a little, which made Chen Xiang astonished. The other party's power was extremely strange and terrifying. Just now, Chen Xiang also saw that the old man behind the middle-aged man was about to attack, but he did not know why he stopped. "Elder, what's wrong?" the middle-aged man asked. "I can't move." The old man's face was filled with shock. "It's the power of a curse. Someone set a curse on me. This should be the most common body-securing curse." Seeing that the old man could not move, Chen Xiang knew that Su Yuqing had made his move. At this time, he also took out the 6 realms mirrors, made it bigger, and then used the mirror to slap at the middle-aged man. The middle-aged man did not know how terrifying the 6 realms mirrors was. His fist overflowed with that strange blue light, and smashed on the mirror. The 6 realms mirrors shook and released a blue light that struck the middle-aged man's body. Power radiation. The middle-aged man shouted in panic as he tried to control the power of the radiation. Just then, Chen Xiang controlled the killing array inside the 6 realms mirrors, releasing a burst of red light. Red Sword Purgatory. The red light emitted by the killing array turned into many red swords that covered the middle-aged man and the group of undead divine race behind him. After the red light faded, another wave of white light shone from within the 6 realms mirrors. Streams of white light shot out, followed by multicolored lightning that rumbled out, strong flames gust. Plussing out. Chen Xiang consecutively used several powerful killing arrays, covering the entire opponent. "Quick! Hurry up and leave." The middle-aged man could no longer hold on. He did not expect Chen Xiang's 6 realms mirrors to be so powerful, to have not even seen the killing formations released before. "Yuqing, hold him," Chen Xiang said to Su Yuqing. "All right." Su Yuqing quickly used the body-securing curse again, locking the middle-aged man in the air. Moreover, the other undead divine race were already injured by the few killing formations, and fell from the sky. There was only the middle-aged man and the old man still floating in the air. Their bodies were also covered with wounds. Chen Xiang was now able to unleash the power of a 6 realms mirrors even more. "This is my territory, you are courting death, you can't blame me for this." Chen Xiang waved his sword, chopping the middle-aged man to death, then took out his chuangs. Hi+G-Ro. D-furnace and burned the old man to death. These undead divine race were all here to open that seal. They were the enemies they face. They would definitely not hold back. It's finally over. These people aren't that strong. Chen Xiang landed on the ground, exhaled, and smiled to Su Yuqing. "Well done." Su Yuqing could only use the simplest body-securing curse. This kind of body-securing curse did not have much killing power, but it could still be used as a support. She knew that the other party was not very strong. As long as she could play a part in it, she would leave the killing of the enemy to Chen Xiang. If one used a strong curse of destruction, it would consume a lot of energy. It was only used against powerful enemies. There's only one group left now, and they're all on the same planet, so their numbers aren't small. They should soon learn that the 2 groups that came with them are all dead. Wu Ji said. "What did they do on that star?" Chen Xiang asked. "Slaughter everywhere up there, they are just a group of demons." Wu Ji sighed. "The strongest powers up there have all been destroyed by them." "All right, we'll head there now. There's no need to wait for them." Chen Xiang said. "In what heavenly star?" "Green brilliant star." Wu Ji said. Yu Qing, let's go. I'll be back soon. Chen Xiang said. There were 3 batches of undead divine race here, and 2 of them had already been exterminated by him, while the remaining one was still on Heavenly Star Realm, happily killing people. Chen Xiang and Su Yuqing quickly arrived at the green brilliant star. Looking at it from the air, it was a very beautiful green star. The great formation protecting the green brilliant star had already been destroyed. Now it looked like this beautiful green star was filled with all kinds of disasters. Many people were trying to escape. Brother, what's the situation now? Chen Xiang stopped a middle-aged man and asked. Very bad, a group of demons suddenly came, they kill as they see fit, and even let some organizations help them kill people. If they don't listen to us, they will torture them to death, so you should quickly return. The transmission array was destroyed by them just to prevent more people from escaping. If you go down, it will be very dangerous. After saying this, the middle-aged man hurriedly left. Was furious that this group of undead divine race had done such a thing. Su Yuqing had found out about it in the Dark Jade Ring, and said that they would use a strong curse to torture this group of evil demons. Chen Xiang immediately teleported to the ground and arrived at a city. This place had already been turned into ruins, and when he arrived, he found a group of people with decent strength chasing after a group of people who were shouting for him to kill. This group of people did not belong to the undead divine race, but were forced to go around killing people by the undead divine race. Curse of the Burning Heart, slowly die. Su Yuqing locked this group of people in her green jade ring, and then used her cursing power. Chen Xiang originally wanted to be born, but he did not expect Su Yuqing to make a move even more. The group of people who were laughing and SLAs, Plus-ing suddenly fell to the ground, they clutched their chests, and roared frantically in pain. Chen Xiang walked over, grabbed one of them and aligned it with the soul-absorbing devil spell, finding out where the group of undead divine race S were from this person's memories. These guys, they turned this heavenly star into AHELL. Chen Xiang looked at the corpses that littered the ground around him, let out a long sigh, and then teleported in one direction. Green Brilliant Sky Mountain was a huge mountain emitting a strong green glow, and was also where Green Brilliant sect was located. It was the strongest sect on Green Brilliant Sky Star, but now it was occupied by a group of undead divine race S. It's up there, the evil source of this planet. Chen Xiang teleported to a platform on the mountain. It was a huge plaza, and at the moment, there were many people watching the BLOODY battles. C-2361. C-2361, although they knew that the other 2 batches had been destroyed, they were still here looking for fun. Furthermore, the rest of the 3 batches had all been destroyed by Yu Yang. This batch is just as arrogant as the previous 2. All the undead divine race in natural law divine realm have the same moral character. Chen Xiang snickered in his heart. In the middle of the square, above the green brilliant sky mountain, the people on the fighting stage were fighting with great vigor. They were all the kind of people who would fight to the death with each other. Chen Xiang looked around and noticed that there were a few PAG-ODAS at the side of the plaza. There were people eating on the PAG-ODAS and watching the battles below. With one look, Chen Xiang could tell that they were all from undead divine race. These guys are really strong. Chen Xiang could see all the undead divine race S up there clearly, and could also feel the aura emitted from their bodies. There were actually 3 people who had Serpa S, said the Peak Divine Lord Realm. No wonder they were still indifferent about the other 2 batches of undead divine race being destroyed. They felt that they were much stronger than those 2 groups, and they didn't want to deal with them yet. It seemed that they were in the mood to wait. Chen Xiang was secretly calculating how he was going to deal with the undead divine race. Just as he was thinking about it, a man suddenly flew down from a tall tower. This man wore gorgeous light purple clothes, and his jade-like face was extremely handsome. His expression was proud, giving others a feeling of superiority. This guy also broke through the peak, Divine Lord. He looks so young. Chen Xiang was shocked in his heart. What is he trying to do? Could it be coming for me? The man could have flown over quickly, but he deliberately glided over very slowly. Chen Xiang was also on guard at this moment, preventing the man from suddenly attacking him. The battle on the stage was extremely intense, and the man from undead divine race had suddenly descended, interrupting the two people's fight. All of you are just like that. Hurry up and die. This is too unsightly of a beating. The arrogant man coldly snorted. He waved his hand and shot out 2 rays of light, which struck the 2 men who were fighting just now. Boom! 2 loud explosions sounded out at the same time. 2 strong men were killed just like that. This made the surrounding people gulp down their saliva. They were worried that they would encounter such a situation as well. I told you guys to come here and fight, not to watch you guys play games. Beautiful, or else you will end up like them. If you play well, I guarantee that you will have a good time in the future. The man said. Chen Xiang looked through the memories he had devoured and found that this man's ident. 1. Tai was not ordinary. In the natural law divine realm, he was the chief patriarch's son and his strength was also very strong. Originally, he only sent 2 batches over, but this little boy insisted on coming over to play, so he came. Moreover, he brought a batch of friends along, no wonder the other 2 batches were destroyed. The patriarch's son was called Sunding, and was a young ranker who was rather famous in the natural law divine realm. Who's next? Sunding looked at the crowd, his face was gloomy, because no one listened to him. No one wanted to go up. If they didn't fight well, there was only death. But there was nothing they could do. They were too weak. They couldn't defeat the demons that suddenly appeared. Chen Xiang thought for a while, then said, "How can I consider her pretty?" Hearing Chen Xiang's voice, everyone immediately looked over, and then all of them left him, actually daring to ask such a reckless question. Chen Xiang found it funny. These people were previously the outstanding disciples of the green brilliant sky mountain. They usually acted tyrannically, but now they didn't even dare to fart. Sun Ding frowned and said to Chen Xiang coldly, "Come up." Everyone was sure Chen Xiang would definitely die if they went up. Chen Xiang walked up with a fearless face. He looked like he had a lot of guts. "If I tell you to come up, then come up. Are you not afraid of me? Do you want to fight me?" Sun Ding asked. Looking at Chen Xiang's fearless expression, he was a little angry in his heart. He felt that these weak humans should be scared to death of him. If there was someone who was not afraid of him, he would feel that he had been underestimated. At this moment, his friends all flew down from the other towers and arrived beside the fighting stage. "Sun Ding, show us your hand right now and see what it means to fight beautifully." A beautiful woman giggled. "That's right, we can see that it's not very fun, so give them some pointers so they can have a good fight." A man holding this fan laughed. These were all Sun Ding's friends, and after that, a few men followed and shouted for Sun Ding to show them their skills. "I would like to, but the people here are all too weak. Not to mention using a few moves, I don't even need to use half a hand, yet they are all dead." Sun Ding chuckled. "If you guys don't believe me, you can come up and try." As she said that, a beautiful woman jumped onto the stage. Her beautiful eyes scanned across the crowd as she called for a strong man. "This one looks pretty strong." The choice of one by this beautiful woman was not enough, and she continued to call for more people, all of whom looked stronger. "I'll teach you how to play well now." The beautiful woman chuckled, "Attack!" Chen Xiang was standing at the side, while that Sun Ding also retreated to the side, laughing merrily as he watched. "Why aren't you going up? Do you want to die?" Seeing that the few big men did not go forward, Sun Ding shouted. The few men from the Green Brilliance Heavenly Mountain could only rush over. However, just as they took a few steps, the beautiful woman did something strange. With a few light waves of her lily-white hands, the men's chests suddenly split open. "Break!" The beautiful woman giggled. Those hearts had all shattered, creating a bloody mist that made everyone's scalps go numb. Beautiful, beautiful! Sun Ding immediately clapped his hands and laughed, while the other disciples of the undead divine race also followed and applauded. Kid, now do you know how to hit her? Sun Ding looked at Chen Xiang. I don't know, I don't think there's any sense of beauty at all. Chen Xiang said straightforwardly. On the other hand, this lady has a pretty good appearance, it's just that her breasts are a little small and her talks aren't perky enough, only her face is fine. If you think that those broken hearts are also called pretty, are you saying that this girl's face is as pretty as those broken hearts? Sun Ding was stunned, the beautiful woman was also stunned. Her undead divine race were also stunned, the disciples of the green brilliant sky mountain were like stone statues. They had never imagined that their own green brilliant sky mountain would have such a person, who dared to be so reckless. Lady, do you think I'm right? Chen Xiang looked at the beautiful woman and laughed. C-2362. C-2362 Sun Ding was furious, there was actually someone who dared to bicker with him, and was even trying to talk him into the pit. Sun Ding, let me tell you, they are called beautiful. That beautiful woman was also very angry. Women hated it when people said that her figure was not good. Furthermore, she had said it in front of so many people. At this moment, everyone could feel the rage of that beautiful woman. They had no idea what kind of power she was capable of causing such terror in the hearts of others. Sun Ding pushed Chen Xiang to the center of the stage. There were a few corpses and hearts that were broken all over the place, it was extremely bloody, but Chen Xiang was calmly standing in the middle. Come here. The beautiful woman coldly snorted. Chen Xiang did not fly over, rather, he walked over step by step. When he took his first step, Su Yuqing had already released the power of the curse. The beautiful woman originally wanted to attack Chen Xiang, but she didn't know why she wasn't able to circulate the divine sense C's energy. Instead, she didn't say it out loud. When she had attempted it a few times, Chen Xiang had already arrived in front of her. Sun Ding was currently looking at her with a faint smile, and thought that the beautiful woman had intentionally allowed Chen Xiang to walk over before killing him with her own hands, in order to make him feel more appreciative. Chen Xiang walked over, but the beautiful woman still did not make a move. She was startled, and just as she was about to speak, her throat was blocked, and then her body became ice-cold. In the blink of an eye, the beautiful woman turned into an ice sculpture. This was all caused by Su Yuqing using the power of the curse, and the beautiful woman was only in the peak Divine Lord realm, so it was relatively easy for Su Yuqing to deal with her. Seeing that the beautiful woman had turned into an ice sculpture, Sun Ding felt that something was wrong, because this beautiful woman had never used such a method before. Just at this moment, Chen Xiang's fist smashed over, exploding out with meteor immortal power SMAs. Ing onto the ice sculpture. The ice sculpture immediately shattered, turning into pieces of ice crystal that floated away. Under the sunlight, the ice sculpture glittered and looked extremely beautiful. This is the beauty in my heart, thank you for your cooperation, Chen Xiang said indifferently. Looking at the crystal-clear ice crystal that had dodged, Sun Ding was stunned. He also felt that the beautiful woman's life force had completely disappeared. You actually killed her. Sun Ding roared, killing intent surged out from his body. He immediately rushed towards Chen Xiang, but before Chen Xiang could say anything, he stopped. Isn't this what you want? Chen Xiang smiled faintly. Sun Ding was unable to move at the moment. He did not know what was wrong with his body, and was suddenly restrained by a strange power. Curse! Sun Ding was shocked. Who are you? Rest assured, I will let you die a beautiful death. As soon as Chen Xiang finished speaking, He threw a fist out and it struck the bridge of Sun Ding's nose, producing an explosive sound. The entire contest ring was struck into pieces by the power of the punch. Sun Ding was stuck on the ground, unable to move at all. Now that he had been punched by Qin Xiang, his nose had caved in, and he still couldn't fly out. Ah! Sun Ding screamed in pain. He wanted to use his hands to cover his bleeding nose, but his hands refused to obey. Pa! Qin Xiang moved closer with another slap, and another wave of berserk vibrating force charged over. The bones on Sun Ding's face could not be shaken to the point of breaking, and even half of it had been deformed. Pa! Qin Xiang slapped Sun Ding's other face again and again. Sun Ding had changed his face completely, and continued to moan and shout. The other stronger male undead divine race all wanted to come up, but they could not move because they were stopped by Su Yoqing's body securing curse. Hurry up, I will use the body lock curse on many people at the same time. I won't be able to maintain my strength for long. Su Yoqing urged Qin Xiang. Look at you, isn't this beautiful enough? I promised you that I would make you die a beautiful and beautiful death. Qin Xiang took out a mirror and placed it in front of Sun Ding. When Sun Ding saw the terrible look on that handsome face, he was so angry that he spat out a mouthful of blood, which splashed on the mirror and made him look even more sinister. I won't let you go. You don't have that chance. Qin Xiang took out Chuang's Hi plus God furnace and injected a vast amount of divine power into it, causing a raging fire to burn inside the Chuang's Hi plus God furnace. Then, he enveloped Sun Ding's body and stored him inside. Just now, Sun Ding had let out a blood-curdling scream that reverberated in the surroundings, causing everyone's scalps to go numb. Qin Xiang then teleported to the other undead divine race sending them inside the Chuang's Hi plus God furnace, using fire to burn them to death. The strongest from the undead divine race had been exterminated. Qin Xiang released his SPAC domain, covering the entire green brilliant sky mountain, and searched for other undead divine race. Qin Xiang did not have the slightest bit of mercy towards these undead divine race. They had already caused many deaths here, and he had seen them on the way here. If the undead divine race did not destroy their souls, they could still be reborn, so Qin Xiang kept them in the Chuang's Hi plus God furnace and burned their bodies and divine soul. Not long after, all the undead divine races that came from the natural law divine realm were completely exterminated by Qin Xiang. Green brilliant sky star no longer needed to be controlled by those demons, and could return back to its original state. When Qin Xiang returned to the everlasting mountain, the buildings above the everlasting mountain were also repaired by the disciples, so it could finally be peaceful for a while. I don't know when they'll come back, but the next time they'll come, they'll definitely be even stronger. Qin Xiang said. So what do we do now? That what natural law divine realm is certainly very strong. Wu Ji said. I don't know what to do for now, but I will think about it. Elder Dai, bring me to the seal. Qin Xiang said. Right now, only Dai Donggong had a way to enter the seal below the everlasting mountain. Dai Donggong brought Qin Xiang to the sealed stone room. Looking at the seal, Qin Xiang said, If I can communicate with the ground-suppressing immortal elephant, then it will be after. Right now, Qin Xiang was also at a loss, not knowing how to react to what would happen next. Dai Donggong left the stone room, leaving Qin Xiang here alone. Qin Xiang sat beside the seal and then focused on the ground-suppressing immortal elephant inside his second divine sense C. He wanted to use this method to communicate with the ground-suppressing immortal elephant. Are you the human who previously made me contact Ren Xian? Suddenly, a voice rang out. It sounded like it came from a benevolent old granny. That's right, Senior. Could you be Ren Xian's mother? Qin Xiang was overjoyed and immediately asked, thinking that it was very possible that this was the ground-suppressing immortal elephant. That's right, you are beside the seal? I feel that you are so close to me now. The ground-suppressing immortal elephant asked. There was a way to contact the ground-suppressing immortal elephant. Chun Xiang had a lot of questions for her already. Yes, I am beside the seal. I just forced back 3 batches of undead divine race S from natural law divine realm, but they will come back. Junior does not know what to do next. Chen Xiang said. C 2363. C 2363. When the ground-suppressing immortal elephant heard Chen Xiang, it was silent for a moment. Chen Xiang did not urge her to do so. He was sure that the ground-suppressing immortal elephant was facing such a difficulty as well. Only the evil spirit race and the undead divine race are up there now, and they are allying with each other. If they all come to Star Law Divine Realm, I won't be able to do anything either. The ground-suppressing immortal elephant said. Their strength is extremely strong, and is not something that I can touch. Chen Xiang was rather disappointed to receive such an answer, but he could understand it. He knew the power of the evil spirit race from the memories of the other undead divine race S. Otherwise, they wouldn't have forced the HELL out of him. It's not like there's no other way. It's just a bit whimsical, but that's the only thing I can think of. The ground-suppressing immortal elephant suddenly said. Senior, what is it? Chen Xiang asked immediately, because the undead divine race S above him would arrive very soon. It is to destroy the laws of time and allow time to return to the desolate land. During that time, experts were as common as the clouds. Even though the evil spirit race and the undead divine race are very powerful, they would not dare to act arrogantly when facing other races. The ground-suppressing immortal elephant said. This. I don't really understand. If we were to destroy the laws of time and reverse the flow of time, wouldn't our era disappear? Chen Xiang frowned. He indeed did not understand. No, if you link this era to the primal chaos wilderness before you destroy the laws of time, then this era will cover the primal chaos wilderness and the 2 generations will coexist. The ground-suppressing immortal elephant said. The purpose of destroying the time laws is to prevent the evil spirit race from being able to go against it. Without the time laws, how would the world function then? Chen Xiang still didn't quite understand. You don't have to worry. Once the laws created by the heavenly Tao are destroyed, they will start all over again. The challenge for you now is how to find the source of the time laws, and how to connect the time of 2 eras, so that the time of 2 eras can be fused. The ground-suppressing immortal elephant said. If we do, are we safe? Chen Xiang asked again. Although he did not have a clue right now, he would definitely work hard in that direction. Originally, there were many races above natural law divine realm, but they all suddenly disappeared, leaving only evil spirit race and evil spirit race. Do you know why? The ground-suppressing immortal elephant said. Why? Chen Xiang had heard about this strange incident from the memories he had searched for, but he did not know why. Because they have all returned to the primal chaos wilderness. Back then, the various races were all extremely powerful. They knew that they could not stop undead divine race and evil spirit race now, so they could only do this. The ground-suppressing immortal elephant said. It's just that they have the time and soul to help, so it's easier for them to do so. Why didn't they connect these 2 times as you suggested? Chen Xiang asked. Then there won't be so much trouble. Because they have already given up on this era and have no hope towards it, they will return to the past and create a new era. As they develop, they will avoid the mistakes that occurred in this era. The ground-suppressing immortal elephant said. That's why their current development timeline is different from ours. Our era is an era of abandonment. After all, he was not familiar with this kind of profound laws of time. The only thing he could understand was that the other races in natural law divine realm had all gone back to their era of prosperity and stability, and then allowed this era to be destroyed. What about the G.O.D. of time? Let this bro help us out and bring us back, okay? Chen Xiang asked. The God of time has died, but he will be reborn in the past. The ground-suppressing immortal elephant said, so it's very difficult for you to find the time laws. Chen Xiang scratched his head. This was indeed a headache. If I let these two eras connect, would they blame me? Chen Xiang laughed bitterly. Don't worry, this is already their mess. But they just left, not caring about our lives. A person in charge of the heavenly Tao who was so irresponsible, who did not even dare to put his life on the line and just left like that. The ground-suppressing immortal elephant was currently very angry, and had been abandoned as well. She had controlled this heaven and Hell for many years, and had separated from her own son for so many years. Alright, I will think of a way to find the time laws. After which, I will connect them with the desolate land and cover this era. Chen Xiang did not know if he could succeed either. After all, he still did not quite understand what was going on. Right now, he only had one concept. Returning to the era of the primal chaos wilderness, Chen Xiang felt excited just thinking about it. Listening to the words of the ground-suppressing immortal elephant, he knew that the life forms at that time were all extremely powerful under the stable circulation of their natural law principles. He cut off the connection between him and the ground-suppressing immortal elephant, then let Dai Donggong come in and bring him out. Leader, did you get anything? Dai Donggong asked quickly. Yes, we'll talk about it later. Chen Xiang called Wu Ji and the others over. Wu Ji and the other undead divine race knew a lot of things, so Chen Xiang hoped that they would know some clues. Elder Wu, do you know how to sense the existence of the time laws? And destroy him? Chen Xiang asked. What? Wu Ji was shocked. Didn't you want to protect the heavens? Why are we also going to destroy the heavens path? I am doing this to protect the people of Star Law Divine Realm. You all have seen how evil the undead divine race that came to visit is. The evil spirits in the heavenly law of Hell are even more terrifying. Chen Xiang said, I plan to link this era with the primordial chaos and savage era. Wu Ji, Dai Donggong and the others frowned as they thought about the complexity of this matter. Huang Jintian said, this method is not bad, but the problem is how to combine two eras. It was just my negligence back then that natural law divine realm had developed to this extent. If it were to cover the past, it would indeed be interesting. Even if the various clans of the natural law divine realm were to return to the past, they would not want to die, and they would have nowhere to hide. This is the only way. Chen Xiang said. When they went back to their past and changed their history, they would not affect the present either, because when they changed their history, they created a new direction and will form a new future. If we do not go back, then maybe we will be there not long ago. Yeah, that's why we have to go back. I don't want any other generation to have me. Huang Jintian laughed. These guys leave us alone. They run back to hide and at the same time correct their mistakes, but mistakes are something that we have to bear, we can't let them relax, we have to extend this era into the past and let them continue to bear the consequences of their mistake. Huang Yantian said. That's right, so when the time comes, we'll destroy the time laws so that they won't be able to hide. Chen Xiang said. C-2364. C-2364. The problem now was how to sense the laws of time and connect it to the primal chaos in this era. Wu Ji and the others were all deep in thought. This was indeed a difficult problem. They knew very well that the undead divine race above would arrive quickly, so they had to finish it quickly. Otherwise, if the natural law divine realm and the undead divine race were to join forces, they could break through the entire star law divine realm very quickly. At that time, the everlasting mountain would also be taken down, and if the seal is released, the strong evil spirits that are sealed inside will come out, and then there would be nowhere for them to hide. How can I sense the existence of the time laws? Chen Xiang said with furrowed brows. Elders, have you all heard about this matter? Chen Xiang asked. Dai Donggong, Wu Ji and the others all shook their heads. They had never heard of this before. If they had, they would have long since told Chen Xiang. Seeing that they were all shaking their heads, Chen Xiang sighed, because even ground-suppressing immortal elephant did not know about this, so it was normal that Dai Donggong and the others did not know. Su Yuqing suddenly said, "Husband, we can try to use the array to test it. Didn't Xian Xian and the others manage to reverse the flow of time through the array? Go and ask them." Through the formation. Chen Xiang's eyes lit up. Lu Menger and the others were indeed very familiar with the power of time. After all, they had refined a time formation before. I'll make a trip to the great heavenly star. There shouldn't be any dangers during this period of time. If there's an unexpected attack, you all have to contact me as soon as possible. Chen Xiang said. Now, it seemed that the Star Law Divine Realm was very peaceful. Dai Donggong and the others had occupied the Everlasting Mountain, and their overall strength was already very strong in the Star Law Divine Realm. Only the experts from the Natural Law Divine Realm could pose a threat to them. The Everlasting Mountain had originally been occupied by the Purple Yuan sect, but now that Dai Donggong and the others had attacked them, the Purple Yuan sect did not make any moves either. Many people were curious about this matter, but they did not know that Purple Yuan sect, Su Dazhong, was Chen Xiang's father-in-law. When Chen Xiang arrived at the great heavenly star, he first went to find Jiao Tsanghai and told him what had happened there, as well as his plans to break the time laws. After all, Jiao Tsanghai had created a powerful world like the Nine Heaven World, which was why Chen Xiang had come to him to seek guidance, to see if he had any good methods. After listening to Chen Xiang's detailed description, Jiao Tsanghai fell into deep thought and said, "The time laws have the most profound laws. When I was creating the Nine Heaven World back then, I was also muddle-headed enough to have the time laws attached to it." Jiao Tsanghai said, "Even though there are things like the time formation, people still find it extremely difficult to understand the laws of time. If the time laws are destroyed, then I'll have to start calculating again. I wonder if we'll still exist when the time comes." Chen Xiang had never thought of such a thing, because the ground-suppressing immortal elephant had told him that this was the only way. But we can try. Facing the evil spirit race above us, we don't have the strength to fight back, so this is the only way. At worst, we can just die together. Jiao Tsanghai said. Chen Xiang also gained a little bit from Jiao Tsanghai, and that was that Jiao Tsanghai had told him that the spirit grain in the time formation were naturally carved through comprehending the great way of the Buddha. The inheritance was very ancient, and it was definitely something that could be comprehended by the time G.O.D., so he might be able to succeed from the time formation. This was the only breakthrough that Chen Xiang could think of right now. He would immediately go to Hundreds of Flowers village. Lu Menger and the others were still refining the transmission array plate. This was for the sake of making the big star travel to the center of Star Law Divine Realm even faster in the future. Xian Xian, don't do this. As soon as Chen Xiang arrived at their house and entered a stone room, he saw them refining an array disk, and immediately called for it to stop. Dongfang Jing immediately asked, "Brother, why? We're all going to have to forge it. Even if all of you have finished refining it, you probably won't have any use for it in the future." Chen Xiang said. If this era was linked to the primal chaos desolate era, the environment would definitely change greatly. It would not be like the current one. What exactly is going on? Where's Yuqing? You are in such a hurry to let her pass. So you want her to become a thug? Laugh. They had a good conversation with Su Yuqing, because Su Yuqing was also proficient in formation technique and things like that. He even knew how to curse spirit grain. Lu Menger and the others were very interested in the curse-type spirit grain, so they asked Su Yuqing a lot of questions about the curse formation. Chen Xiang told Su Yuqing to come out of the serene jade ring, and then he told LV Chilian and the others to come over. He had to let them know about the time reversal as well. LV Chilian and Feng Yujie arrived quickly. With them were Long Huishan, Johanru, Imperial Concubine Lian, and Xiao Yulan. They were considered stronger here, and were usually the women with a good grasp of the general direction. After they arrived, Chen Xiang also seized the opportunity to speak of the danger they were facing. This was all related to the seal placed on the evil spirit race S and undead divine race S, as well as the things that were sealed underneath them. Our undead divine race has actually become like this. The Imperial Concubine Lian could not believe it. She frowned. Then if we break the time laws, will we disappear along with you? I have discussed this with Big Brother Songhai. Because the time laws were born in the primal chaos wilderness, our return to that era was also the starting point of time. Therefore, even if we were to break the time laws, it would not affect our existence, because we are already in the primal chaos wilderness, an era that is not affected by the time laws. Chen Xiang said, "Of course, the problem now is how to do it." "So what do we need to do now?" Johanru asked. Chen Xiang was so powerful, and yet he felt so powerless. They knew that they couldn't help much, but they still wanted to help. "Let's inform the 4 divine races and the others first. Tell them to never stop raising their strength. If they really succeed, it would be extremely dangerous to go to the primal chaos wilderness." Chen Xiang said, "For now, I plan to give it a try with Xianxian and the others and see if I can feel the laws of time from the time formation." LV Chilian and the others nodded their heads, before going to do their own business, especially the girls who were concocting pills like Feng Yujie and the others, who needed to concoct even more pills to do so. No one knew what kind of world the primal chaos desolate land was, but they were sure that it would require a very strong power to survive there. "Menger, can you guys refine an even more powerful time formation? In other words, if you use the power of the time formation to its maximum, I think that the process will definitely unleash a very strong power of time. This will definitely alarm the time laws." Chen Xiang said. "This is not difficult at all. However, it requires a very large amount of energy to maintain." Shui Xianxian said. "If it's in 9 Heaven World, we can use the core, but can we use the core here? The heart of the earth was controlled by Ren Xian here, so Chen Xiang felt that he had some sort of relations, Hi plus P with this Ren Xian, and he thought that there shouldn't be a problem. C 2365. C 2365, don't worry about that. The energy of the formation isn't a difficult thing." This idea was come from Ren Xian's mother. He felt that Ren Xian would definitely let him use that time formation in the heart of the earth. Lu Menger said, "We previously refined 2 sets of time formation, and you also copied one of them. Are these 3 sets of time formation all enough?" Chen Xiang thought for a while, then said, "If I use these 3 sets of time formation, then I will be in the time formation for tens of thousands of years, and only a moment will pass outside." Shui Xianxian laughed. "Of course we know, so we will refine another 3 sets of time formation that are the opposite of this one. That is, the moment you enter the array, it will take you tens of thousands of years to reach the outside." Chen Xiang understood that as he kept going back and forth between the left and right, he was constantly performing a high-intensity reversal. This way, he would need a very strong energy and at the same time be able to unleash a very strong power of time. Refining the array disk is very fast. Right now we have quite a few array disks materials, we just need to engrave them into the spirit grain. You really have to promise that you can do it from the bottom of your heart. Lu Menger asked. "I'm going to take a look at the Earth's core right now. You guys can get busy." Chen Xiang kissed the faces of the few women before heading to the core of the Earth. Last time, Chen Xiang had been to a place near the heart of the Earth, where he had found the mechanism for controlling the great heavenly star formation. Now, he teleported into the hot, steaming pas, sage, and released his powerful aura so that Ren-Xian, who was in the middle of the ground, could feel it. Not long after, he could sense Ren-Xian's qi. The qi of this dragon Kylan was very recognizable. Ren-Xian came very quickly. He recognized Chen Xiang's aura and was a little surprised in his heart. The last time he met Chen Xiang was still very weak, but now he was much stronger. Ren-Xian was still very friendly towards Chen Xiang, because Chen Xiang told him to contact his mother, otherwise he would have lost himself and be controlled by the evil spirit race. Brother Ren. When Chen Xiang saw Ren-Xian, he laughed and shouted, "What did you come find me for? I'm cultivating in seclusion." Ren-Xian said, if not for Chen Xiang, he would not have come out. The important thing is that I managed to contact your mother under the seal in Everlasting Mountain. Chen Xiang said. Ren-Xian immediately became excited, because this matter was related to his mother. After that, Chen Xiang and Ren-Xian sat on the ground. Chen Xiang explained these natural affairs of his and told Ren-Xian the method the ground-suppressing immortal elephant told him. Right now, you just want to use the powerful energy in the Earth's core to try it out? Ren-Xian asked. Yes, I'm afraid I won't be able to handle such a consumption of the Earth's core of the other heavenly stars, but this heavenly star is not a problem. Chen Xiang nodded. Ren-Xian was the earthly beast here. If he wanted to try it here, he needed his consent. This is not a problem. If it was the past, I would definitely reject you because this requires my Earth's core divine spirit's consent. But now, my Earth's core divine spirit has also disappeared. Ren-Xian sighed. Seems like he has abandoned us and returned to the big chaotic times. Chen Xiang laughed. We will be able to return very soon. At that time, we don't need to face the crazy evil spirit race and undead divine race. Chen Xiang didn't know how powerful the evil spirit race and the evil spirit race above the natural law divine realm were, but he could tell from how the various races of the natural law divine realm were hiding. Even if the various races of the natural law divine realm were to join forces, they would still be unable to change the situation. It was none of their business to let the people of this era fend for themselves, even if all of them were killed. It was precisely because of this that the ground-suppressing immortal elephant was so angry, giving Chen Xiang such an idea. If Chen Xiang succeeded, then she would also succeed in her revenge. Alright, you can come here when you need it. I'll take you to the depths of the earth to absorb energy. Ren-Xian had already agreed, which allowed him to feel more at ease. As long as Shui Xianxian and the others concocted an array disk, he could give it a try. When Chen Xiang returned to the surface, he was not idle right now. He was condensing those purple pearls in the hundreds of flowers village, and he had Yuer and Long Shui to plant those spirit seed in the ring. If he wanted to step into the heavenly Tao realm, he would need to cultivate in a Tao body. This was also very difficult, and he needed his second divine sense CS to condense their bones. I really didn't expect it to become so fast. I even thought I could live a carefree life in this world just because I cultivated to such a powerful level. Long Shui complained. You don't have to work hard to cultivate. Why are you sighing? Chen Xiang laughed. Long Shui's cultivation method was to eat and sleep, and it was the same for now. But it still takes time. Long Shui was learning to grow spirit seed from Yuer in the serene jade ring. Chen Xiang had only waited for a few days before Lu Menger and the others managed to refine 3 sets of array discs, and even taught him how to use them. Yuer, Shui, both of you come out. I'm worried that it will affect you. Chen Xiang said. Long Shui and Yuer both understood that Chen Xiang was worried that something might happen to them. After Shui Xianxian instructed Lu Menger and the others, Chen Xiang finally left the hundreds of flowers village and proceeded towards the heart of the earth of this great star. Just like last time, he used the same method to contact Ren-Xian, who arrived quickly and brought him into the core of the earth under the fire essence. Along the way, with Ren Xian's power clearing the way, the fire essence would automatically avoid him, so Chen Xiang did not feel too hot either. He never thought that the power of this big heavenly star would be so much stronger than what he imagined. Chen Xiang followed Ren Xian, and very soon they were at the center of the Earth's core. In front of them was a huge round black rock, like a huge mountain, with a hole at the top, where Ren Xian lived. Ren Xian brought Chen Xiang into the cave, and arrived at an extremely hot stone room. Here, you can easily absorb the energy of the Earth's core. I wish you success. Ren Xian patted Chen Xiang's shoulder. If Chen Xiang succeeded, his parents would not need to continue staying in the heavenly law I'll do my best. Chen Xiang said, Brother Ren, if the guy from natural law divine realm comes, when the time comes, can you use some strength to stop them for a while? I will. Ren Xian nodded. He left the stone room that was filled with red light and closed the stone door. Chen Xiang took out many array discs and placed them around him. Some of them overlapped each other, forming a huge circle. If we succeed, then the two eras will overlap and the creatures of both eras can coexist. However, the world of our era was formed later on. The time in the primal chaos wilderness is different from now, so it might just be the time of the creatures of our era. Chen Xiang said. Right now, he was only guessing, he did not know the specifics, only success would allow him to know. C-2366. C-2366 Chen Xiang activated the large formation formed by all the array discs. Outside the stone room, Ren Xian immediately sensed a large amount of energy frantically rush ing into the stone room that Chen Xiang was in from the Earth core. He was also shocked by one of them. He did not think that the energy consumption would be this much. Who was inside the time formation, naturally did not know that he was currently in a very special time and SPAC. The time he was in could be said to have progressed the same as outside, but the time he was in was different. Chen Xiang closed his eyes and tried to sense the time power inside. If he wanted to connect this era with the big chaotic times, he had to first touch upon the laws of time before he could proceed with his understanding of the laws of time. This was also the hardest part and could be said to be impossible. When the ground-suppressing immortal elephant told her about this method, she had said that it was very difficult to achieve. After a day had passed, Chen Xiang did not gain much, but his formation used up a great deal of energy from the Earth's core. If it goes on like this, he won't last for more than a year. I hope he can be faster. If he succeeds, then this heavenly star's death is also worth it. Then, he left the Earth's core and came to the top of the great heavenly star. He had promised Chen Xiang that he would protect this place well, and Chen Xiang had told him that there were many of his friends and relatives there. Days passed, and in the blink of an eye, a month had passed. During this month, all the creatures on top of the great celestial star could feel that the divine spirit aura on this planet wasn't as dense as before and was currently descending. Only a small portion of people knew about the matter that Chen Xiang had created in the heart of the earth. Su Yuqing was watching Shui Xianxian and the others refine array disk. They were also refining transmission arrays now, refining protective formations and killing formations. If Chen Xiang succeeded, they would go to the big chaotic times. They did not know what was scary about that era, but they would have to prepare to face it. Suddenly, a terrifying aura surged over. Su Yuqing was startled, and his expression became serious. They are here, natural law divine realm and evil spirit race. Su Yuqing had followed Chen Xiang to kill those 3 batches of undead divine race before, so she was very familiar with this qi, and the other qi was from the evil spirit race. All of you, activate the protective array formation. I'll go take a look. After Su Yuqing finished speaking, he disappeared in the blink of an eye. Yuqing, you have to be careful. Su Yuqing shouted to the sky. Su Yuqing was also Chen Xiang's beloved woman, if something were to happen to her, Chen Xiang would definitely be very sad. When Su Yuqing arrived high up in the sky, he saw a large group of people up above who were using a very strong power to attack the grand celestial star formation. After being improved by Lu Menger and the others, this large formation became even more powerful. After all, it was maintained by the power of the core of the earth, and it had a very strong defensive power. But now, he was facing natural law divine realm ranked rankers. Su Yuqing saw Ren Xian. Is it elder brother Ren? Su Yuqing asked. Yes, you are Chen Xiang's wife, right? Ren Xian nodded his head. It's best that you head down since this place is dangerous. They will be able to breach it soon. About how long will it take? Su Yuqing asked anxiously. 3 days at the fastest. Ren Xian said, all of you, prepare to escape. It looks like this group of fellows discovered this big heavenly star. This time, they did not go to other heavenly stars, nor did they go to Everlasting Mountain. Should I call out Chen Xiang? Su Yuqing knew that Ren Xian's strength was related to his Tao body. He was in existence who had already stepped into the first level of the heavenly Tao realm, the Tao Ti realm. Calling him out is useless. If the formation is broken, I can hold on for a while longer and let you guys escape. Ren Xian said. He had already made his decision. Su Yuqing looked at the group of people who were continuously attacking the large array in the sky and sighed in her heart. Returning to the Hundreds of Flowers village, she still had some time, and only hoped that Chen Xiang could succeed. More than 10 days after Chen Xiang had entered the time formation, he was immersed in an extremely peculiar state. It was as if he had returned to his childhood, and for some reason, he felt as if he had experienced the things that happened before himself, as though he had returned to the past. No, I've experienced this before. Chen Xiang suddenly woke up from his stupor and then appeared in a vast expanse of white space. There were many wheels inside, and when these wheels revolved, there were many scenes that appeared, and all of them had profound spirit grain on them. These wheels represent an era, ing and turning one after another. Chen Xiang carefully observed the tens of thousands of wheels. He could see that many of the times were already past. He could even see the times when the 9 divine kings created the 9 heaven world and the times when the heavenly divine Lord fell. The largest wheel should be from the first era, after the primal chaos wilderness, and finally, the era we are in. Chen Xiang walked over and touched the giant wheel that was last in line. This wheel was 30,000 meters high. Just by touching it, Chen Xiang had lost a large amount of his power, leaving behind only a little. It seems like I'm already in the law of time. If I want to change the laws, then the amount of energy I'll need will increase. Chen Xiang exclaimed, then consumed a divine pellet to recover his energy. Big chaotic times is an initial era, and it cannot be destroyed. If we were to destroy the other time cycles here, leaving behind only those of our era, then we would be very close to big chaotic times. Chen Xiang looked at the other wheels, then took out the chuangs. Hi+GOD furnace. I hope it works. Chen Xiang released flames from the chuangs. Hi+GOD furnace, burning the other wheel but to no avail. In the end, it's because my strength isn't enough. Chen Xiang closed his eyes and felt the energy from the Earth's core outside. After sensing it, he started to absorb it. At this time, he also felt that the flames inside the chuangs, Hi+GOD furnace had become very fierce. A ball of flame landed on the wheel, and it instantly started burning. There's hope, as long as we can keep the last wheel. Chen Xiang was not worried, since the wheel had already said. He burned it to prevent the undead divine race and the evil spirit race from hiding in other times. As long as all the experiences they had said through were destroyed, they would have nowhere to go. Everyone would have to stay in the big chaotic times. Very quickly, Chen Xiang burned the other wheel, leaving only this one. Although there were no other wheels, it was still spinning. What's going on? I'm still within the time laws. Could it be that I haven't succeeded yet? Chen Xiang looked around. He thought for a moment, stared at the last wheel, frowned, and said, "Don't tell me we have to destroy this wheel." He thought for a moment, stared at the last wheel, and frowned and said, "Don't tell me we have to destroy this wheel. These revolvers are just the timeline. Even if they are destroyed, the world we live in will not be affected much. It's just that time has returned to the starting point, and the starting point is the big chaotic times." When Chen Xiang thought here, he was shocked. The big chaotic times has always existed, because the primal chaos does not have the time laws. Destroy. Chen Xiang destroyed the last wheel, causing the area around them to become twisted. Success, we are about to reach the big chaotic times. This is the true era. The era we were in previously is just an unintentionally born heavenly Tao. C. 2367. C. 2367. After Chen Xiang destroyed the last gigantic wheel of the time laws, the SPAC around him started to distort. If there are mountains outside, then the environment we are in has changed. Chen Xiang stood in place, not daring to move. He was certain that the time laws had already been destroyed. Of course, he would still be able to reincarnate in the future. As for what was going on, Chen Xiang was not too concerned about it right now. Ren Xian floated in the air, and was currently staring at the undead divine race and evil spirit race in the sky. Suddenly, he felt a strong energy fluctuation. Chen Xiang succeeded. Ren Xian opened his eyes wide. If he succeeded, the place they were in would definitely undergo a large change as well. This was because the era they lived in would regress to the big chaotic times, and the big chaotic times would definitely be different from the current one. On the everlasting mountain, Wu Ji, Dai Donggong and the Huang Jintian brothers were all stern at the moment. The SPAC around them had started to distort. They knew that Chen Xiang had already started moving. As for whether or not he would succeed, they could only continue to wait. Little scoundrel succeeded. Long Shui shouted in shock. She was currently together with Leng Yulan, and although they were holding hands tightly, they couldn't see each other. At this moment, everyone seemed to be in a separate SPAC. "Can you all hear me?" LV Qilian shouted. She had sent a sound transmission to the girls just now, but none of them heard it. The reason why such a fluctuation appeared was because the SPAC between the two eras was currently fusing. This fusion was very strange, yet it did not harm life. "Yes, we are all fine," Feng Yujie said. At this moment, they were both holding hands. If the two eras merged, they would be able to take care of each other. Su Dazhong, who was walking around on top of the Purple Yuan sect, had experienced something similar with no one knew what. "What's going on? Did they use some powerful technique?" An elder of the evil spirit race shouted. "The SPAC is undergoing a great change. I don't know what's going on. Could it be that they want to send us somewhere?" Someone answered. At this point of time, no one dared to leave, and 4 divine races on the great heavenly star realm had long known that something like this was going to happen. Chen Xiang had told LV Qilian to tell them beforehand so that they could prepare their hearts. Chen Xiang only knew that the two eras were fusing, but he wasn't sure if he would succeed in the end. After all, this was his first time doing something like this, and he had to feel for rocks to cross rivers to succeed. Not knowing how much time had passed, Chen Xiang realized that his surroundings had started to clear up, and an extremely light and spirited fragrance salted his nostrils. For some reason, this made him, who was originally exhausted, become energetic. This is the primordial wilderness. Chen Xiang looked around him. He was in a forest filled with towering trees that reached the sky. "Sister Qilian." Chen Xiang immediately took out his communication jade symbol paper and sent a message to LV Qilian, but there was no response. The spatial laws have changed. These communication jade symbol paper were all refined using the spatial laws of that era, so they are now useless. Chen Xiang used the power of the spatial laws to teleport. He felt that he could teleport to a high altitude, but didn't expect that he was only 10 meters away from the ground. The spatial strength has also increased a lot. This big chaotic times is really strong in all aspects. Chen Xiang could not feel the familiar divine spirit qi, but whether or not this was a breeze, it contained a very pure energy. We have to find them quickly. Chen Xiang used his spatial energy to teleport high up in the sky. He saw a large group of people in the air. These people are. When Chen Xiang saw the large group of people ing towards Ren Xian, he immediately understood that they were no longer on the great heavenly star realm. Otherwise, the array protecting the great heavenly star would not have disappeared. After the two eras merged, they also arrived at a new world, the world where the big chaotic times resided. Legend has it that the big chaotic times was a very large world. In the end, it exploded and split apart, forming many large and small worlds. In other words, this big chaotic times was even bigger than the entire star law divine realm. It had to be known that there were countless stars in the star law divine realm. If all of them were added up, it would be extremely huge. Brother Ren, come here. Chen Xiang used a teleportation technique to teleport Ren Xian over, and then teleported away. If it was the past, he would easily be able to use such a skill. But now, he felt that he had exhausted over half of his divine power. This big chaotic times's world SPAC was simply too strong. I succeeded. Chen Xiang brought Ren Xian to a big tree and entered the cave. I wonder how my parents are doing right now. Ren Xian sighed. I hope we can see them quickly. They are very, very far away from us. This big chaotic times is the one that the star law divine realm and many other worlds fuse together, our position on the great heavenly star, and they are in the WANG ancient heavenly star. We can't use the transmission array either, so it should be rather difficult to find them. Chen Xiang said, but this is good too, at least they don't have to face those fellows right now. Chen Xiang had made the hundreds of flowers village prepare beforehand. They all had a lot of powerful array discs. If they were to meet the attacks of the evil spirit race, they could at least block them for a while. Then what should we do now? Ren Xian asked. Although he had decent strength, they were too weak in the face of the evil spirit race. If we can't beat them, we can only hide. Chen Xiang said. Now that there isn't any of them left, you shouldn't be able to go to the core of the earth. But maybe you can try and see if you can contact Earth's core divine spirit. I will go now. Ren Xian nodded. Soon after, Chen Xiang brought Ren Xian and sprinted towards the location of the Nine Heaven School in the huge ancient forest. Although he had returned to the big chaotic times, Chen Xiang, based on his previous memories, found the Nine Heaven School. The structure of the Nine Heaven School was still there, but there were still many huge trees inside, and the great heavenly star was actually a large forest in the big chaotic times. At this time, Chen Xiang did not know where undead divine race and his son had gone to. He was only concerned about the safety of the hundreds of flowers village. After 4 hours had passed, Chen Xiang was frantically running. He never thought that just 4 hours of traveling would take more than half of his divine power. If it was the past, he would have reached hundreds of flowers village from Nine Heaven School in a blink of an eye. But now, he could not, the distance he had to teleport was always limited. C-2368. C-2368 Chen Xiang was very familiar with the location of the hundreds of flowers village, but when he came here, he did not see the hundreds of flowers village. What's going on? Chen Xiang ran a few laps back and forth. He did not remember wrongly, the hundreds of flowers village should be right here. This made him worried. He was worried that something was wrong and the hundreds of flowers village had disappeared. Don't worry, we're fine. Chen Xiang suddenly heard LV Qilian's sound transmission, allowing him to feel at ease. Then where are you? Why can't I see hundreds of flowers village? Chen Xiang asked. We used an array to conceal ourselves. Evil spirit race flew over it just now. LV Qilian said, Do you want to come in? Chen Xiang originally wanted to go in to see them, but after thinking about it, he said, I'm not going in, I still have to run around. I'm not sure how the other 4 divine races are doing. Although the 4 divine races knew about it in advance, they did not have the same type of defensive array as the hundreds of flowers village. Chen Xiang was a little worried for them. According to his memories, he started running in the forest. He first went to Divine Dragon Race because he was very familiar with him. The place where the Divine Dragon Race was located was also in the forest. Some buildings were even fused together with some trees, and this was all caused by the fusion of 2 generations. Nothing happened to the Divine Dragon Race as both of them did not notice their presence. The other 3 clans are fine. They've already contacted us, but who would have thought that the things left behind by our ancestors would suddenly become useful? In his hand was a piece of green jade that looked extremely ancient. That's good. I won't be going over to their place now. He still doesn't know what danger big chaotic times is, so you better not run around. I'll go investigate first. Chen Xiang said. Good. Our 4 clans and 9 heaven school will strengthen our relations. HI+P. He now understood their situation. This was the big chaotic times that was Flurries. HI+ing back then, and their strength was extremely weak here. He had originally wanted to try and see if he could fly to the deep SPAC, but after reaching a certain height, it would be difficult to climb up again. Am I not strong enough? Or is there some barrier that restricts us from flying deeper into the sky? Chen Xiang looked down from the sky and saw those tall ancient trees everywhere. This was an ancient forest that very few people came to, even beasts were not common here. Chen Xiang stayed in the air for a while as well, but he had never seen a single bird. Is this not a good place? Why is there no other life apart from the trees? Chen Xiang suddenly felt that the place was dead silent, but with how the ancient trees looked, it meant that the life force was still strong. He used the Tao Heart Eye to observe his surroundings and realized that there was only a white energy here. He did not know what it was, but he was not familiar with the 5 elements energy. What's that? Using the Tao Heart Eye, Chen Xiang suddenly saw many dots of red light in front of him. It's the evil spirit race, they're moving towards a direction. Chen Xiang exclaimed in his heart and followed. The undead divine race S above natural law divine realm all learned the evil spirit race's counterpower, so they could also use the counterpower to conceal themselves. At this moment, they seemed to be hiding something. Seeing evil spirit race and the rest escaping, Chen Xiang suddenly understood. This huge forest definitely contained some sort of power that gave birth to powerful life forms. It could be a powerful savage divine beast. This place was the domain of this divine beast, so no other beast dared to approach. This is just my guess. I hope it is different from what I thought. Chen Xiang started to worry again as he sped up his pace to catch up. He wanted to confirm if it was as he had guessed. Not long after, he approached the group of evil spirit race in front of him. This forest had always been very quiet, without any large movements. Fortunately, they're not hiding from some powerful guy. They're just hurrying on their way. Chen Xiang heaved a sigh of relief. If there was someone strong here, it would definitely cause the place to become extremely dangerous. Chen Xiang continued to follow them. He wanted to make sure that this group of guys was far away from the forest. Only then would the forest be safe. He followed for a few hours, and the sky gradually darkened. The evil spirit race did not stop, and continued to fly quickly in the air. For more than 10 days, Chen Xiang followed evil spirit race and the others and flew out of the forest, arriving at a desolate, barren land. There were rocks of all sizes here, and the quality of the soil here was poor as well, as though it was a land of death. Are they going somewhere? Chen Xiang had followed them for more than 10 days, but they had never stopped. Along the way, he was also very curious. After a few more days, they were still in the desolate land. The big chaotic times was truly vast. They had been traveling at high speeds for so long, they were still in 2 regions, and the place was not as dangerous as Chen Xiang had imagined. They had not met any beast. Was scorched darker by the sun, especially at noon when he used the counterpower, but even he felt that his body was in pain from the sun's rays. Something's coming. Chen Xiang anxiously landed on the ground and hid behind a rock. Although he was using the counterpower, he still had to hide, because it would not be discovered that easily. "It's you guys. How did you come here?" An elderly voice asked, his voice full of surprise. Chen Xiang tried his best to conceal himself. He used his divine soul to take a peek and discovered that the person who came was a white-robed elderly man. "Natural law divine spirit, haha. We are really here, haha." When Chen Xiang saw that all of the evil spirit race had appeared, the person laughing maniacally was an old man in red. Chen Xiang was shocked. The white-robed elder who suddenly came here was actually natural law divine spirit. "Isn't this guy dead?" Chen Xiang suddenly understood. This guy did not die. He only lied to everyone, and the other G.O.D. tribes in natural law divine realm all ran over here. The red-clothed old man from evil spirit race shouted, "Quickly kill this fellow. Although we don't know how we got here, it is still a good thing for us. We don't know how the heavenly law palace is doing now." Natural law divine spirit saw a flash of red light, and then his body emitted a burst of white light and disappeared. "They actually ran away, let's chase them. This is the big chaotic times. Here we will have the chance to kill the ancient gods of the big chaotic times." The red-clothed old man who was leading the evil spirit race laughed wildly and quickly chased after him. Seeing their speed, Chen Xiang was secretly nervous in his heart. He was too dangerous following these evil spirit race before. This was an evil race that could destroy various races and many divine law gods in the natural law divine realm.